Chapter 1321. The royal bird of the imperial avian race was not weak. Chen Shang pondered for a moment, then said, "What kind of strength does it have? I don't need poison to deal with it." "Fine, we haven't reached the immortal monarch yet. As for the late period of human immortal, you can just take out the hammer of God. If no one comes to help, you can just get rid of him." Long Shui laughed. "If that doesn't work, I'll help you in the dark again." After knowing the true strength of late period of human immortal, Chen Shang was relieved. He immediately rushed out from a deep ravine and took out his hammer of God. The royal bird immediately noticed him and immediately unleashed a palm towards his direction, releasing a burst of golden feathers. Those feathers were all golden arrows, densely packed like a storm, enveloping Chen Shang. "It's a small gold eagle. It's a big prophet." Long Shui was extremely excited. "Quickly get rid of him." Chen Shang was not afraid of the golden-feathered sword released by the small gold eagle, waving the hammer of God to open up a path. When approaching the small gold eagle, he raised his divine hammer, flew through space, and arrived beside the small gold eagle, then directly struck down. Even though this small gold eagle looked young and immature, it had a lot of battle experience. It turned its hand and released a golden long spear, fiercely thrusting towards Chen Zhang's chest. The divine hammer had already smashed down, and just as it was about to slam down, Chen Shang had no choice but to evade the sudden spear attack. Although he had the protection of the profound Wu diamond armor, if he got stabbed, he would definitely be seriously injured. Humans are actually not from the Imperial Dragon clan, they are wasting their strength. Although Chen Zhang's attack just now was considered quite strong, it was nothing in his eyes. In his eyes, only the Imperial Dragon clan's Emperor Dragon was worthy to be his opponent. Imperial avian race is too arrogant, I really want to go out and teach him a lesson. Long Shui said angrily. "I want to see if you can survive if you don't waste your strength." Chen Shang smashed his hammer down once again. After knowing that his opponent had a spear, he would not fight face to face with him. "You want to hurt me with this hammer?" The small gold eagle's eyes slanted and waved the golden spear in its hands, sweeping it across. Although there was not a very violent fluctuation of energy, the power contained in the spear was extremely terrifying. Chen Shang anxiously changed his direction of attack, striking the spear head, he ruthlessly smashed it, using the strongest dragon power, coupled with the power of earthquake. Bang! The hammer accurately smashed onto the spear head, causing the golden spear to shake violently. The small gold eagle did not expect the hammer to be so powerful, it made it feel as if he was struck by a gigantic star. "It hurts," Chen Shang sneered, then extended his hand and grabbed the sharp spear head, causing the small gold eagle to be stunned once again. At this time, his hand was indeed in extreme pain, he immediately grabbed the spear with his other hand, intending to pull it out of Chen Zhang's hand. He did not expect that the tip of his spear would be grabbed in such a way, he fiercely swung his spear, wanting to cut Chen Zhang's palm apart. However, Chen Zhang's palm seemed to be made of divine iron, dragging it backwards while holding onto it tightly, he did not dare to twitch at all. "Idiot!" Chen Shang looked at the small gold eagle, and two red rays of light suddenly shot out from his eyes. After the red rays of light shot out, they became tens of large threads of light that penetrated the small gold eagle's body. Heart-piercing demon eye. The small gold eagle was shocked, he never thought that there would be such a powerful demon dweller on this battlefield that knew how to use this lost demonic technique. The small gold eagle had already let go of Chen Zhang's hand, because the blood vessels on his arm were pierced through by Chen Zhang's piercing heart demon eye. "Don't let him transform," Long Shui shouted. Chen Shang kept his spear and hammered the small gold eagle's head, using all of his power from the three killing techniques, Heaven Slaughter, Divine Slaughter, Unity. With the addition of the dragon power and the divine hammer's impact power, the hammer strike was extremely terrifying, the sky and earth suddenly changed color, the wind and clouds surged, and the earth trembled violently. Go to heaven. Chen Shang never thought that after he entered the worldly immortal stage, he would be able to use all his strength. The great momentum he had created had already attracted the attention of many immortal kings and immortal monarch. The divine hammer landed on the small gold eagle's head, but it did not hit it so hard that its brains were splattered everywhere. This was because when the divine hammer smashed onto the small gold eagle, the super pressure that surged out from the divine hammer had already crushed the small gold eagle's head into powder. Quickly put it into the ring, the small gold eagle after death will become very big, and when the time comes, the great golden rock king will be back. That's a fellow at the immortal king level. Long Shui anxiously shouted. Chen Shang threw the headless body into a relatively spacious area of the ring, then quickly burrowed into a crevice nearby. Just as he left, an angry screech sounded out from within the Immortal Palace, shocking everyone to the point that their hearts trembled. The Golden Rock King was infuriated. Some people had already guessed that his son had died. "Who is it?" The Golden Rock King's angry roars shook the heaven and earth. "It's you and me." At the place where he was fighting with the small gold eagle, a group of Immortal King-level rankers suddenly appeared. Among them, there were 2 bird kings from Imperial Feather Race, and the first and second princes were also present. "It's the dragon power. It seems to be the power of the Holy Dragon," the first prince said. "Imperial Dragon Clan, I'll fight it out with you." The Golden Rock King roared angrily and flew towards a place far away where the dragon power was thicker. After getting rid of 2 immortal monarchs, he knew that Imperial Avian race had fallen. He cursed in his heart, "Damned brat, to think that he actually got himself a small gold eagle. I really regret not being with him, he's really struck the jackpot." Because the small gold eagle had died, the Golden Rock King was furious. He killed a large group of the 6th Prince's Immortal Monarchs and killed 2 Immortal Monarch Emperor dragons. He was currently fighting a great battle with a few Immortal Kings and a Dragon King. It's Fire Divine Palace's turn. If I don't get rid of a few of the Fire Divine Palaces, I won't be happy even if I get rid of the small gold eagle. Chen Shang gritted his teeth and said, "Little naughty dragon, quickly help me find those fellows from Fire Divine Palace. No matter what methods you use, let them die a few core members." "That's easy. They all have fire souls and there's a huge difference between their fire auras and those without them. They really can't let the people from Fire Divine Palace off easy," Long Shui said. "If necessary, just use your magical corruption gas and drunk god magical poison. It would be best if you can kill those at the Immortal King level when you use them," Bai Yu said coldly. Chen Shang took a deep breath, swallowed a pill, and meditated in the depths of the crevice. He had indeed made a fortune by killing that small gold eagle, but he felt that it was still not enough. "I'll help you find those tired Immortal Fire God King. It's easier to succeed in ambushing those guys," Long Shui said. Chapter 1322. Long Shui expanded his search for Immortal Kings in the Fire Divine Palace, but after searching for a while, he only found a few. There were not many Immortal Kings in the Fire Divine Palace, and Wang Changjin was one of them. The others were all stronger, and it was difficult to succeed in ambushing them. These Fire Divine Palace people always avoid the Immortal Kings that are stronger than them. They still have a lot of energy left, so it seems like we can only wait," Long Shui said. "What about that old woman Wang Changjin? Even if I can't kill her, I have to make her suffer a little, or else I won't feel well. Last time, when Wang Changjin forced him to teach her alchemy, she made him very angry. Unless I join hands with you, it is possible for her to suffer a great loss with the super old poison. However, there are a few days of powerful Emperor Dragon Kings here. The moment my strength appears, they will discover me." Long Shui pondered for a moment, then continued, "When you join hands with me and use the super old poison, regardless of whether or not you can kill Wang Changjin or not, you have to leave this place as soon as possible. I am worried that something might happen that I did not expect." "No problem, I'll go find that old woman Wang Changjin right now." Chen Shang immediately left the place and hid in the deep ravine. At the same time, the battle up there was getting more and more intense, all because of the death of the small gold eagle. The angered Golden Rock King started killing everywhere, causing many of the Immortal Monarchs and worldly immortals on the side of the 6th Prince to die. If not for the 2 Dragon Kings from the Imperial Dragon Clan being able to stall the Golden Rock King in time, more would have died. Chen Shang was already thousands of meters away from Wang Changjin. Using the Heaven Tour, he could see clearly that Wang Changjin was fighting with a middle-aged man. This old lady specially found some weaker ones to fight with. Seems like she's also very afraid of death. I wonder which power she's from. Although she's an Immortal King, her level is still too low," Chen Shang said. "The main reason is that this old lady's flames are too strong. Even if it's the Immortal King, if her flames were to invade your body, the consequences would be very serious. As long as you stay in Heaven Realm for a period of time, you would know that you cannot touch her flames," Su Meiyao said. "It's best that you don't go and try. Her kind of strange fire, until now, has no one been able to figure out what kind of flame it is." Wang Changjin also knew how to refine pills, and she was also an Immortal King in the Fire Divine Palace. It was natural for her flames to be strong, but no one knew what kind of flame she had. It feels like it's made from the fusion of the heavenly fire and demonic fire, so it can be used for alchemy. At the same time, it has an evil aura and the color is also purplish red. Long Shui said. Chen Shang observed Wang Changjin's battle. Her battlefield was considered more gentle, with not too much of a commotion. It was unlike the others who had fought until it seemed like the heavens were crumbling and the earth was cracking. Wang Changjin is really crafty. She purposely wasted time here with a not-so-strong immortal king, this way she won't meet any powerful immortal kings, and can easily pass through this big battle herself. Chen Shang said. If it wasn't for that, this old woman would probably have died a long time ago. If she had met the crazy Golden Rock King on the main battlefield just now, she most likely would have been severely wounded. Bai Yu sneered. Back then, he was also like this, a guy who bullies the weak and fears the strong. Chen Shang breathed in lightly and counted the drunk god magical poison inside the storage magic treasure. After confirming the quantity, he said to Long Shui, "Little naughty dragon, I'm going to make my move. I will lend you my power later. You should decide how to use it." Long Shui said. Chen Shang observed Wang Changjin's battle and said, "All right, lend me your power." In just a short moment, Chen Shang felt an additional burst of power in his body, as though his body was going to explode. This was the power that Long Shui had lent him. He felt that although it was not Long Shui's full strength, it was extremely strong. He controlled this energy to fuse with his own, and then, he urged the power of the spatial laws. In an instant, he traversed 3,000 meters and arrived behind Wang Changjin. The man fighting Wang Changjin was shocked, but he thought that Chen Shang was definitely on his side. Otherwise, he wouldn't have ambushed Wang Changjin. Wang Changjin immediately sensed someone from behind. She immediately turned around and unleashed a palm strike. The purple-red flame was like a poisonous snake, spitting out a snake's apricot tree as it bit towards Chen Shang. The fire snake had pierced through Chen Zhang's body, but Wang Changjin immediately discovered that it was just an illusionary shadow. The real Chen Shang had already flashed to Wang Changjin's side, his hand holding onto the Devil Emperor dagger. The monstrous demonic chi on the dagger startled Wang Changjin, but what surprised her the most was the devil-suppressing holy power, which was also exceptionally strong. Old woman, Chen Shang clenched his teeth, and poured all of the condensed magical corruption gases into the Devil Emperor dagger. The Devil Emperor dagger flew out with the powerful energy that Chen Shang poured into it. Like an arrow, it emitted a gold-red glow. Wang Changjin's body immediately erupted with a strong protective demon aura, wanting to block the Devil Emperor dagger, but the Devil Emperor dagger itself was a terrifying demon weapon, adding the extremely strong devil-suppressing holy power that had the ability to restrain demons. Although Chen Zhang's strength was weak, he still managed to pierce through Wang Changjin's protective demon aura, but he only managed to pierce half of it before stopping. HMPH, so you were that weak? Wang Changjin saw that the dagger was blocked by her barrier, and laughed coldly, but just as she finished speaking, the Devil Emperor dagger suddenly exploded, and another force hidden inside burst out, causing the colorless and tasteless magical corruption gas and drunk god magical poison to float out. Her complexion was unsightly to the extreme, it was already turning slightly black. Although she had only taken in a little bit of magical corruption gas, it was enough to take her life. She never could have predicted that someone would use a super old poison on this kind of battlefield. Very quickly, she discovered that not only was there a super old poison, there was also a drunk god magical poison. Someone could actually control two kinds of strange poison, it was too terrifying. "Hurry up and leave," shouted. Just now, Chen Shang had used a lot of power in her attack on the dagger, and her white dragon power had already been revealed. Long Shui could already feel that some of the royal dragons were using their divine powers to investigate this side. "Damned old woman, today is your last day." Just as Chen Shang wanted to attack, he heard Wang Changjin's sharp shout. "Super old poison." Wang Changjin exhausted all his strength and roared, causing many immortal kings to quickly rush over. Chen Shang waved his hand and called back the Devil Emperor dagger. He ran as fast as he could and jumped into a huge crevice, leaving this place far behind. Chapter 1323. Following Wang Changjin's shout, everyone stopped. The words, "super old poison," held a lot of power, and the despair that Wang Changjin's voice contained just now also made people's hair stand on end. The Immortal King present more or less knew that this old woman was hard to deal with, and for her to do this, it was only super old poison. Previously, Bai Ziqian was listed on the bounty because of the use of the super old poison. When the devil-suppressing divine palace came here to kill her, she had already lost to one of the demon-suppressing immortal kings, so these people knew that now that Wang Chongjin had been tricked, everyone immediately suspected that the devil-scorpion princess was here causing trouble. More than 30 immortal kings were standing far away from Wang Chongjin. Wang Chongjin's face was currently purple and black as she laid weakly on the ground. She was only able to use the energy in her body to barely defend herself from the poison. It really is a super old poison, and it's even a rather strong one. There are quite a few of them by her side. The first prince's face was solemn. He took out a jade box, took out a handful of crystal powder and sprinkled it towards Wang Chongjin. When the powder floated past, it immediately became purple-black and light pink. Looking at the light pink powder, the first prince's body trembled. There's actually a drunk god magical poison SA. These are two strange poisons. Did Devil Scorpion Princess get another one? Quote. It's not that slut. The one that attacked me wasn't strong, but he used a very powerful demon weapon and even knew how to suppress the demon's power. After breaking through my defense, he released poison gas to ambush me. Wang Chongjin said fiercely. The Golden Rock King coldly snorted and said, "Are you still fighting? My son has already died here. Today, we must get to a conclusion." His eyes blazed as he looked at Imperial Dragon Clan and the group of people. HMPH, a few dragons from our Imperial Dragon Clan also died. Your Imperial Feather race won't be able to get away with it today. An old man from the Imperial Dragon Clan said angrily. The sixth prince's expression turned cold as he took out a pill and threw it towards Wang Chongjin. Eat it, and you can temporarily suppress the poison. Today, we will definitely get a result of this, and I also want to uncover the person who is causing trouble here. Someone was causing trouble here, and it was a guy with a lot of tricks despite not being very strong. Father, you are right. Someone ambushed me earlier, using a black blood magic sunflower and even stealing my celestial sword. He Feng said angrily. Everyone was familiar with the black blood magic sunflower, because the incident of the Heavenly Bull Immortal Palace's Jade Rabbit being robbed had caused the appearance of the black blood magic sunflower. This person is definitely an expert poison user. My strength should be below the Immortal Monarch's, but I was able to release a sneak attack and sneak attack. He Feng said again, and then looked around at his surroundings. One of the Immortal Kings also said, I found a lot of dead bodies, but none of the heavenly pills, storage magic treasure, or weapons could be seen. One time, I saw a figure very quickly pass by the two corpses and skillfully snatch all these things. When this person ambushed us, he killed two birds with one stone. From the distant Chen Shang, after hearing all this from him, he immediately guessed that it was Huang Jintian who did it, and he did not have that kind of ability. Huang Jintian, who was hiding nearby, scolded in his heart. This little brat Chen Shang actually used super old poison S, and two of them. This little bastard, even if you have this kind of good stuff, you still won't give it to me. Chen Shang left the 20th palace and returned to the main palace. It's still quiet here, eh? Right, they will probably fight for a while more. If I take this opportunity and enter the main palace to loot, it might go smoothly. Quote. Chen Zhang's eyes lit up. A few powerful princes would be bringing a large group of experts to fight in the 20 immortal palaces. The defense here would definitely be much weaker. Let's go to the 6th shop first. Chen Shang made up his mind that he would definitely go to the palace to take a look. Arriving at the 6th store, Long Shui immediately investigated the hidden rankers. He discovered that there were only 2 immortal monarchs inside, but there were more than 10 in the past. Chen Shang came to a place with no one around, changed into the appearance of He Feng, and then entered the 6th shop. When he entered, he was still holding He Feng's immortal sword, so when Manager Ma saw it, he did not doubt it at all. Eldest young master, weren't you over there? Why are you back? When Manager Ma saw that this, He Feng, had a head full of messy hair, he knew that it must have been a huge battle. Quick, bring all the high-level pellets here. There's an urgent need to heal the wounds and restore the innate qi. Chen Shang said. His transformation technique was extremely mystical, being able to change into an qi that was similar to He Feng's. His voice was also the same. Seeing how anxious Chen Zhang's voice was, Manager Ma immediately ordered people to gather the high-rank pellets from the underground alchemy palace. Now that I only have these, I don't know if it's enough. Manager Ma gave Chen Shang a bottle of Hunyuan Dan with more than 500 pills inside, as well as a bottle of restoration pills for healing purposes with more than 300 pills. Enough. Chen Shang knew that he shouldn't be too greedy, otherwise he would be seen through. Just you wait, I'll be the first prince soon. After Chen Shang finished speaking, he left quickly. Manager Ma let out a sigh of relief. This immortal sword is really good stuff. I'll sell it off after a while, chuckled in his heart. He was very satisfied that he managed to deceive so many heaven-level pills. Chen Shang continued to act like this Defying, and sprinted all the way to the palace entrance. The palace was located right in the middle of this main palace, surrounded by a very tall giant wall. Usually, it would be extremely difficult to enter, but now that Chen Shang had entered it with his appearance, it was like he was strolling in the streets. Let's go to the place where they grow the herbs. Su Meiyao laughed, take everything that you can take. Chen Shang was excited and wished that he could run over immediately. However, that would be too suspicious. He only walked around quickly, and the problem right now was that he did not know where the medicine garden was. This palace is too big. It wouldn't be easy to loot it. Chen Shang sighed helplessly. He was going to use the heaven tour with Long Shui right now to look for the place where the medicinal herbs were grown. Long Shui was more familiar with this place, so she quickly got an idea. The last time you were concocting pills in here, you should have been in the 6th prince's territory, so you should go in first. Long Shui said. Under Long Shui's guidance, Chen Shang entered the huge villa. The ones in charge of guarding the gates were the 2 immortal monarchs, and they did not suspect him in the slightest. Because Chen Shang had pretended to be in a hurry to enter and it was currently the middle of a huge battle, this seemed to be natural in the eyes of many. Of course, it was mainly because Chen Shang could imitate the qi unique to Defying's body, so no one would doubt him. This 6th prince is amazing. There are even a few immortal kings hidden in there. You should be careful, Kiki. Long Shui said. There are still a few immortal kings. It's quite troublesome. I wonder if there are any immortal kings at the place where the medicinal herbs are planted. Chen Shang was worried that he wouldn't be able to hide from the immortal kings. Chapter 1324. The herbs in the 60,000 shops were all of low-grade heaven level S, which meant the Hunyuan Dan could be obtained just by having them, and the things that were grown in the 6th prince's residence were definitely good stuff that might even have immortal grade S. I found it. It's a valley, but there are 2 immortal kings inside. Long Shui said, but Chen Shang hesitated. There were 2 immortal kings in that place. If they were to be seen, he would be in deep trouble. Shui, take a look and see if there are any precious herbs. If there's anything worth taking risks with, go and try. Anyway, this little scoundrel didn't escape from the immortal king's hands once or twice. Su Meiyao said. Although Chen Shang had escaped from the immortal king a few times, he would still feel pressured if he went there now. However, if it was like what Su Meiyao had said, taking a risk once was not a problem with the immortal grade medicinal herbs that were worth taking risks. Send what you saw into my mind, let me see what's inside Su Meiyao said as he walked toward the valley. After a while, Su Meiyao exclaimed, Myriad Dan immortal country is indeed powerful, to actually have such a thing. Hearing Su Meiyao's words, Chen Shang was sure that he had to enter that valley. What's that? Chen Shang asked anxiously. The Tianshan holy fruit tree has already formed a Tianshan holy fruit above. That is the holy level's medicinal herb. Su Meiyao said excitedly, one of the main ingredients to concoct that pill. In order for Su Meiyao and Bai Yu to recover their strength, they had to eat that type of holy pellet. The main ingredients required were all holy level S, and there were already jade dragon flower, blood ginseng, and holy lotus seeds. Chen Shang did not know how much more he would need, but if he could get it now, he would definitely try his best to get a hold of it. There are still some immortal fruits inside, but they are far worse than the Tianshan holy fruit. After you enter, your main target will be the Tianshan holy fruit, so don't worry about anything else to prevent yourself from being suspected. Su Meiyao warned. The one guarding the door was a immortal monarch. He didn't ask much, and let Chen Shang in. The eldest son of the 6th prince, Defying, who had once annihilated a demon palace, was a very respectable person in the eyes of many immortal monarch. If the 6th prince could become the new king, then Defying might become the future king. Chen Shang enjoyed this feeling a lot, but his main goal was the Tianshan holy fruit. In the future, when he becomes a very powerful alchemist, even the immortal country king would have to be respectful to him. Little Feng, aren't we fighting in the 20th palace right now? Why are you back? An old man with a long white beard slowly floated in front of Chen Shang, and at this moment, Chen Shang saw that the valley was filled with many precious herbs that made people drool. It was as if Long Shui had ran out and eaten everything. You said you were poisoned, and you wanted the Tianshan holy fruit to detoxify it. This kind of fruit is indeed useful for detoxifying poisons, especially the super old poison. Su Meiyao said. Chen Shang sighed. I've been infected with the super old poison, right now I'm only using the power in my body to suppress the spread of the poison. Hearing the magical corruption gas, the old man immediately retreated a few steps. This was something many people would do. He frowned and said, I want to look at your blood. At this time, another immortal king appeared. It was a very short old man, and he said, if the poison is too deep, we can only use Tianshan holy fruit. Let's first see your blood, and see to what extent you can suppress the spread of the poison. To Chen Shang, this was nothing at all. He took out a jade bowl, then took out He Feng's immortal sword, cut open his finger and squeezed out a few drops of purplish-black poisonous blood. If not for the fact that your own innate qi was powerful enough to suppress this strange poison, I'm afraid that you would have died a long time ago. The short elder sighed with a look of reluctance on his face. However, he still flew towards the snow jade-like tree. There was a silver-white fruit on it, and it looked like it was only the size of an egg. I never thought that a magical corruption gas would appear. We had already heard that people from the devil-suppressing divine palace were chasing after the devil scorpion princess, and they were even chasing after him at 20 palaces. We never thought that she would actually use poison on you. The long-bearded old man said. Who asked me to destroy a demon palace last time? Maybe the devil scorpion princess has a grudge against me, and he doesn't want me to die too quickly. She's very strong, and it's a sneak attack as well, I can't guard against it. Chen Shang said while pretending to be angry. Wait until your father calls her king. When that happens, you have to place a bounty on her. The long-bearded old man patted Chen Zhang's shoulder. The short elder took the Tianshan holy fruit and gave it to Chen Shang. When Chen Shang received it, he was extremely excited, and he tried his best to control his emotions to calm down. I will return now and go into seclusion to refine this holy fruit. By the time I come out, my royal father should have already become the new king. After Chen Shang finished speaking, he kept the holy fruit and bowed to the two elders. He did not dare say anything else as he was worried that he would become a spy. Chen Shang walked out of the valley and almost sprinted towards the palace's gate. Although he had obtained the Tianshan holy fruit, he was still in the palace. Quickly, those two old fellows took out the jade talismans and sent a message. I wonder who they were sending a message to. If it was the sixth prince, you would definitely have been discovered. Long Shui suddenly urged Chen Shang to speed up. Chen Shang had already arrived at the gate, but he saw the two immortal monarchs at the gate take out trembling jade talismans. Chen Shang immediately ran out of the door, and the two immortal monarchs did not stop him, because they did not see the information inside the jade token. However, when they saw it, their expressions became ugly, and he immediately looked outside the door, where Chen Shang had long disappeared. Haha, it's here. This group of idiots were fighting to the death in the 20 palaces, yet their own lair was raided by me. Chen Shang laughed in his heart. At that moment he had already reached the exit, but just as he was about to exit, the door suddenly closed. The use of transmission array is also prohibited. Chen Shang looked in the direction of the transmission array, and saw many people complaining. That's for sure. The matter of losing the holy level's medicinal ingredients is extremely serious, so this kind of action is normal. Su Meiyao laughed tenderly. It's fine to stay here for a few more days, since they can't find you. If I'm lucky, I might be able to see He Feng's flustered look. Did not know what the battle situation was like right now, nor did he want to understand. What he cared more about was the outcome, and to see who would become the new king of the myriad Dan immortal country in the end. I wonder how teacher is doing. This old lunatic is so strong, he must have gotten quite a bit of benefits. From the window of Chen Zhang's hotel room, he could see the door of the number 6 shop in the distance. At this moment, the main street had already been sealed and the shop's big doors were also tightly shut. Chapter 1325. Chen Shang was lying on his bed, when he suddenly heard loud yelling. He opened his eyes and looked out the window. It was already late at night, but it was so lively outside, he immediately guessed that the battle was over, and there was already a conclusion. Sure enough, shouts came from outside. It was all from the direction of the 6th shop, and Chen Shang knew that the 6th prince had obtained victory right away. If the 6th prince is pretty powerful, he could successfully ascend the throne against 6 others. The princes who lost can no longer stay in the main palace, they can only stay in some of the nearby immortal palaces. Su Meiyao said. Even if he won, he still stirred up a lot of hatred. At least the Golden Rock King of Imperial Avian race would hate him. Chuckled, he had not touched the small gold eagle's corpse yet, so now was not the right time, and this place was not suitable either. Actually, you're also a big winner. Su Meiyao laughed. Chen Shang swindled the 6th Princess Tiantian Holy Fruit away and obtained Defying's immortal sword. He killed a small gold eagle and indeed, his harvest was plentiful. Right now, he really wanted to leave this main palace, but the matter of the Tiantian Holy Fruit being swindled away had caused this place to be sealed. There should be a lot of people leaving the main palace right now. For example, those big powers that have come to participate in the battle. If the blockade is too long, then the 6th prince will just become the new king, which will arouse many people's disgust. Su Meiyao said. After Chen Shang obtained the Tiantian Holy Fruit and a small gold eagle, he wanted to quickly find a safe place to look around. Only by leaving this 10,000 pills palace would it be safe. In a magnificent palace, many Immortal King-level experts were gathered here. Even though they had obtained the final victory, they were not very happy because they had suffered heavy losses. Wang Chongjin's face turned ugly. She could be said to have taken back her life, but she was unable to use all of her strength in this short period of time. It was already not bad that she could still walk. The faces of the Imperial Dragon Clan's Dragon Kings were heavy. Out of the few little Emperor Dragon that they had brought with them, a few had died, and 2 of them were unknown. The 6th Prince's brows were knitted tightly as he listened to the reports from the 2 Immortal Kings protecting the medicinal garden in the valley. Everyone was also carefully listening to the 2 Immortal Kings' narration of the Tiantian Holy Fruit being swindled away. He Feng's expression was the ugliest, because that person was pretending to be him. Not only did that person swindle the Tiantian Holy Fruit away, he even swindled some heaven-level pills from the 6th shop. Who exactly is this person? What we can be sure of is that this person is the one who used the magical corruption gas, ambushed Fenger, and used poison to attack Hallmaster Wang. An old man said. This guy isn't very strong, he might just have entered the Immortal Monarch, but he has countless of tricks up his sleeve, and is also very cunning. He Feng said angrily, we must find this guy. The Imperial Dragon Clan Dragon Kings gave a similar look. One of the middle-aged men said, I think this guy might not be human. It was a dragon, a white dragon that had not appeared in our Imperial Dragon Clan for many years. At that time, we could sense a very weak white dragon aura. Quote. Furthermore, what he is using is not the appearance-changing technique, but the sacred art, the transformation technique from our Imperial Dragon Clan. This kind of high-level cultivation technique is not something that just anyone can learn. For example, we cannot master it. The experts here more or less knew about the affairs of the Imperial Dragon Clan. It is said that the White Dragon is extinct in your Imperial Dragon Clan, and only existed in the Primal Era. That means this White Dragon should be considered to be from your Imperial Dragon Clan. An Immortal King of Fire Divine Palace said. Back then, the White Dragon Clan was expelled by the Imperial Dragon Clan. The White Dragon Clan was not willing to accept this and went back to Imperial Dragon Clan to fight. A huge battle broke out. At that time, all the old dragons in the Imperial Dragon Clan were dispatched, and all the white dragons were annihilated. When the Dragon King said this, everyone understood that if Bai Long was still alive, then he would definitely be filled with hatred and would be opposing the Imperial Dragon Clan. Wang Chongjin said in a cold voice, but the fellow who attacked me, he grasped an extremely strong power to suppress devils as well as the power of devils. Of course there are dragon powers as well, so how can you explain this? The Dragon King sighed, that's even more certain, that's the White Dragon. What's amazing about the White Dragon is that they can cultivate many types of powers without conflict. The White Dragon is like a huge piece of white paper that can be painted with all kinds of colors. The 6th prince realized that although this unknown enemy was weak, it was very difficult to deal with. If that's the case, I'm afraid there's no need to seal off the entire Immortal Palace, we simply can't find him. The White Dragon possesses a lot of memories and inheritances, and one of the ancestral dragons has a white dragon, but it's actually quite strong. Because the White Dragon can control a lot of different types of powers, the White Dragon possesses a lot of different kinds of techniques and methods, not to mention capturing it, it would be hard to find it even if you wanted to. The Dragon King said. At this moment, the faces of these royals were grave. Everyone could guess that they were worried that the White Dragon would grow, and then seek revenge. Long Shui was indeed very powerful, growing up very quickly. She had mastered many abilities, and her origins were also very mysterious. At this moment, she was humming a song, fantasizing about eating bird meat. The blockade has been lifted. At daybreak, Chen Shang heard someone shouting outside the window. Hurry up and go eat the bird meat. I can't wait any longer and will come back after eating. The new king's position will definitely be very lively. The corpse of the small gold eagle was frozen inside the ring, but she did not move, because she did not know how to bake. Even if she wanted to, it would not be as delicious as Chen Zhang's bake. She was worried that it would be wasted. Chen Shang also wanted to quickly try it, so he immediately left the hotel and walked towards the transmission array. On the way, he heard many people talking about things that he was more concerned about, such as how people used magical corruption gases during the Great Battle, causing Wang Chongjin to be half dead. However, no one knew who used magical corruption gases. Devil-suppressing Divine Palace paid more attention to this matter. He immediately posted their bounty with a high bounty-related clues. At this time, Chen Shang had become a young man with a common face. Passing by the Myriad Dan building, he unintentionally raised his head to look at the third floor, and thought about the mysterious elder Uncle Li. What made him surprised was, he saw the elder Uncle Li standing next to a window on the third floor. Elder Uncle Li had a smile on his face, as if he was looking at him. This old guy is very secretive. It seems like he saw through my transformation technique and even discovered me. Chen Shang felt a burst of fear, then anxiously walked toward the transmission array. He doesn't seem to have any ill intentions. Let's have a private chat and see what his background is. Long Shui said. Chen Shang stood in front of the transmission array and asked Long Shui where they should go. Let's go to the Flying Snow Palace. It's quieter there, and it's snowing all year round, so it's very suitable for eating barbecue. Su Meiyao chuckled, when the time comes, we can find a safe ice valley and eat together with you. Chapter 1326. Really? Chen Shang was overjoyed. Then, he told the manager of the transmission array that he would be teleported to the Flying Snow Palace. There was only one person here who wanted to go to this palace, so the price was very expensive. Chen Shang left the busy city and headed towards the desolate plains of the palace. He traveled through a large group of tall and big snow mountains and ran wildly as he pleased. At the bottom of the ravine was a pond, and right now, Chen Shang was at the edge of the pond. A fire was rising, and he was currently roasting the golden rock meat. Long Shui had already run out of the ring. She was originally wearing a snow-white dress, but she had already taken it off and changed into a light one. She rolled up her sleeves and held the roasted meat in her hands. It was rare for Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu to come out, although Chen Shang could always chat with the two girls, he rarely saw them. At this time, seeing this pair of beautiful and delicate women wearing luxurious clothes appeared made him a little dazed. Bai Yuyu appeared to be extremely cautious, holding onto a plate that was filled with meat that Chen Shang had cut up. She placed it in her mouth as she watched her surroundings, but Su Meiyao had a charming smile on her face as she ate, while looking at Chen Shang with her mesmerizing eyes, and chattering continuously with him, occasionally teasing him with her charming eyes. That small gold eagle is not small, it's enough for us to eat for a while. Right now, we are only eating the flesh of a big wing. Long Shui's mouth was full of meat, and a little bit of meat juice was stuck on his mouth and face, making both Chen Shang and Su Meiyao laugh. Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao sat beside Chen Shang. In the beginning, it was Chen Shang who sliced their flesh, but at the end, it was them who helped Chen Shang and Long Shui to enjoy the golden rock feast. Sister Yuyu, you still have gravy on your mouth. Quickly let this little scoundrel lick it for you. Don't waste it. When Long Shui saw it, he giggled. Chen Shang really wanted to go over and kiss Bai Yuyu's small mouth that was covered in meat juice, but he didn't dare. Bai Yuyu licked her lips, rolled her eyes, and said softly, no need. Senior sister, I never thought that we would be able to eat golden rock meat in our lifetime. Back then, Master always brought this matter up on his lips. Su Meiyao laughed. The golden rock meat is really good, but it's missing something. Bai Yuyu faintly smiled, and then looked towards Chen Shang. Something's missing. Chen Shang frowned and asked. There's less to drink. Long Shui called out, then took out a jug of wine, and poured out a few cups of water that emitted a sweet fragrance. Chen Shang didn't know where she got this water from, but after drinking it for a while, he still wanted to drink it again, but this little dragon treated it like a treasure, and only gave him half a cup. It should be about now. I should go to the Myriad Dan Immortal country to take a look. The new king's position is very lively. Su Meiyao said. Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao's eyes were filled with reluctance. To be able to return to the heaven realm from their new life and to eat and chat while reminiscing about the past had made them extremely happy in their hearts, but they were soon going to return to the ring. Right now, they were looking forward to such a simple life, and it was the easiest for many people. Chen Shang flew out of the ravine, and madly ran amidst the flying snowflakes, filled with worry. He really wanted Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu to walk out of the ring without being worried at all. There will be a day. Chen Shang told himself. The main immortal palace of the myriad Dan immortal country was currently gathered with people from all over the place, and the majority of them were alchemists. As the new king, most of the activities would be in favor of the alchemist, and in the eyes of many of the alchemists, this was also a gathering of the alchemist. Once Chen Shang returned, he immediately went to the myriad Dan building. Here, he would quickly learn some good things about the alchemist. As expected, the elder Uncle Li was here. Chen Shang had also changed his appearance, but when he arrived, the elder Uncle Li opened his eyes slightly, looked at him for a bit, and then closed his eyes. There were only a few idle people who surrounded elder Uncle Li's pill refining stalls. This was because elder Uncle Li's pill refining skills were extremely brilliant. Those who were watching him wanted to learn something from him, or comprehend something. Elder Uncle Li, can you help me refine a batch of pills? Chen Shang immediately asked as soon as he arrived at the side. Everyone looked at him strangely, because asking others to help him concoct pills was extremely rude. Sure, the people from elder Uncle Li were also surprised. Chen Shang smiled faintly as he took out a portion of Relive Dan's medicinal ingredients and passed it over. Elder Uncle Li himself took out a few supplementary medicinal ingredients and threw them into the furnace. Elder Uncle Li refining the Relive Dan was also very fast, everyone knew that. Not long after Chen Shang opened the furnace, elder Uncle Li only had one Relive Dan. When Chen Shang received the Relive Dan, he felt something inside, and turned around to leave after receiving it. He originally wanted to use his divine sense to talk to the elder Uncle Li, but the elder Uncle Li did not respond to him. No wonder he was only able to cultivate one pellet. The peak level of a elder Uncle Li should be 3. One of them said as he watched Chen Shang leave. Chen Shang brought the Relive Dan to the first floor. He was not in a hurry to see what was inside, because he heard about the palace selection competition as well as the pill refining competition. What was worth noting was that this pill refining competition was not as simple as just a competition, but also a challenge from the myriad Dan immortal country to the fused sacred Dan realm. When the time comes, the competition would be split into 3 parts, one representing the sacred Dan realm, the other representing the myriad Dan immortal country, and then there would be an individual or a representative representing their own forces participating. If it's a challenge to the sacred Dan realm, the rewards will definitely be very rich. I wonder what the rewards will be like. Chen Shang was very much looking forward to this. He planned to join in the fun. I might even meet someone I know. Chen Shang walked out of the myriad Dan building, and then, he crushed the Relive Dan elder Uncle Li had refined for him. He saw that there was actually a small slip of paper hidden inside. Late at night, Wuxi Mountain. There were only these few words on it. Chapter 1327. Chen Shang didn't know where the 5-Snake Mountain was, but after asking around, he knew that it was not too far away from the main palace's center, and there was a mountain there that looked like 5 snakes coiling together. It was only dark now, but Chen Shang had already arrived at 5-Snake Mountain, waiting for the elder Uncle Li to arrive. Before he came, he had already asked about the elder Uncle Li and only knew that the elder Uncle Li had suddenly appeared, without any background and without any strength, but his pill refining skills were extremely brilliant. Even though he was just staying at the 3rd floor to help the people concoct the ground-level pills, many people thought that he was a Dan immortal. He had been in that myriad Dan building for more than 10 years, and during this period of time, many great powers had tried to rope him in, but none of them succeeded. Late at night, the silver moonlight shone down onto the 5-Snake Mountain summit. Chen Shang was lying on a flat rock, bathing in the moonlight as he admired the dazzling stars in the sky. The stars here were exactly the same as the one he saw when he was at DTN's place. Dragon subduing school, I'm guessing you're very early. These words caused Chen Shang to jump in fright, but at the same time, caused him to become cautious. You know me. Chen Zhang's face was filled with caution as his entire body tensed up as if he was about to face a great enemy. If I had any ill intentions towards you, I would not have arranged to meet you here. However, we should be considered to be on the same side, and my disciple is living a good life in your dragon subduing school. The elder Uncle Li laughed. Chen Shang was startled, then exclaimed, "You are Li Tianjin." Back then, when he was still in mortal martial realm, S name was very resounding, and Li Baojun was his disciple. However, later on, he heard that Li Tianjin lost to an old granny and had nothing left to lose. "How did you recognize me? I managed to deceive many powerful people." Chen Shang was still wary. "I don't know what that feeling is, but it's because of the experience I gained from refining pills. As long as you get near, I will feel that wonderful feeling, and it's hard to say for sure. I heard my disciple talk about you, so I guessed that it was very possible that it was you." When Li Tianjin mentioned this matter, his face was also at a loss. He himself did not know what was going on. "Maybe it's because the alchemy Dao you walked in was different from mine, but your goal is the same, so I have this feeling." "When did the elder Li tell you about me?" Chen Shang asked. "Are you still able to contact him? The information here is very difficult to transmit. At that time, he had mentioned to me about your unique method of refining pills, so the last time you were refining the relived Dan, I already knew that it was you." "What method?" Li Tianjin said. Now that Chen Shang saw his old appearance, of course it was not his original appearance. "I'm just curious as to why you are not staying in the palace at all. Weren't you staying in the 6th shop very well in the beginning, then why did you come out again? I even heard that you came from the devil-killing summit." Li Tianjin asked curiously. "That 6th prince is not a good person, so I ran away." Chen Shang sighed. "Now that he is the king, I have to be more careful." Li Tianjin obviously did not know about the other things he had done here. "Senior Li, why are you here as well? I heard that you lost to a fellow called vansh.saran Immortal." Chen Shang asked, not afraid of the pain of stabbing Li Tianjin, because Li Baojun had said that he, his master, was very easy to get along with. Li Tianjin shook his head and laughed. "There's nothing I can do, I'm also a human. There will always be a time when I lose. I have to say that vansh.saran Immortal is really powerful. I was too arrogant back then, but it was a good thing for me, I grew up a lot. It's good to meet someone I know here, even though it's our first time meeting." Li Tianjin patted Chen Zhang's shoulder and laughed. "Senior Li, to be honest, I have to thank you. Although I've never met you before, the medicinal fields you left behind are of great help to me." Chen Shang said with a solemn face. "You're welcome. The things I left behind are useless to me." Li Tianjin looked at the busy city in the distance. "It's just that I never thought that a guy like you would actually have such great abilities and walk a different path. I can teach you that pill refining technique." Chen Shang immediately said. "There's no need. I also want to try and see if I can break through that rigid rule and walk my own path. That will give me a bit more of a sense of accomplishment." Li Tianjin smiled in relief. This made Chen Shang admire him even more. "Before long, vansh.saran Immortal will come here. At that time, we might be able to fight against her again." Li Tianjin sighed softly. "Oh, could it be that this is a competition organized by the new king? When the time comes, I will also be participating." Chen Shang said. "I'm going to take the prize. This new king shouldn't be too stingy." Li Tianjin laughed. "He Piqing has always been generous with his rewards, the prizes will definitely be good stuff. But at that time, the ones who can last until the end will all be at Dan Immortal's level, and the specifics will depend on the competition rules. Isn't this competition supposed to be a show of power for all alchemists?" Chen Shang frowned. "That's true, but anyone can participate. When the time comes, all the alchemists will be allowed to participate, but the pill refining level of the Dan Immortal will definitely be much higher than the other alchemists. In the layers of the competition, I'm afraid only the alchemist would be able to stand out." Li Tianjin said, "But if it's you, then maybe you can break out of this situation." Furthermore, this Li Tianjin would also want to participate. Although he had used the heavenly alchemy to walk on a different path of pill Dao, he was still too young. It can be said that it's a contest between alchemists and alchemists of the entire myriad Dan Immortal country. However, at that time, I won't be able to represent myriad Dan Immortal country, and would be able to defeat both sacred Dan realms in one fell swoop. That would be more interesting." Li Tianjin smiled, his eyes full of ambition as he looked into the distance. Chen Shang slightly clenched his fists, and laughed. "If I could defeat a large group of Dan Immortal, it would be even more interesting." Li Tianjin looked at Chen Shang and laughed. "I look forward to it. But come to think of it, you don't need to take first place, as long as you can make it to the last place, it will be enough to slap those Dan Immortals' face. But you have to be careful, don't expose your identity." Li Tianjin's face became serious. Chapter 1328. He did not have any good impressions of this Dragon Emperor, and it could be said that he had a lot of hatred towards him. If the Dragon Emperor knew the true cause of his own son's death, then Chen Shang would not be at ease right now. What does a fellow like the Dragon Emperor want to do here? Isn't that too disrespectful? Chen Shang obviously did not wish for such a powerful rancor to come here. At that time, he would also be participating. I am only guessing, but this competition is not a joke. It is very meaningful for Sacred Dan Realm and Myriad Dan Immortal Country, or the entire Heaven Realm. Li Tianjin said. It's going to start in a few days. Go and prepare. Li Tianjin patted Chen Zhang's shoulder. A few more days. Chen Shang did not expect it to be so fast. He felt that there was at least another month left. If it was so quick, then many people would not have had the time to prepare. This match was originally not held for a lot of people. Li Tianjin laughed, then leapt down from the mountain peak and flew into the distance, disappearing into the night sky. Chen Shang stared at his disappearing figure in a daze. Only a few days had passed, and he didn't know if he would be able to achieve an outstanding result in this kind of competition. Even a powerful Dan Immortal like Li Tianjin had come to participate, and at that time, there would be even a Bai Sha Dan Immortal like him. For such a large-scale competition, we would not fight to refine immortal pellets. Usually, we would fight in private, because that would require a lot of time. At most, it would be a high-grade heaven-level pellet, but it is too late for you, not to mention a high-grade heaven level, even a middle-grade heaven level would be difficult for you. Su Meiyao said. I hope the rules will be a bit more fair to alchemist of my level. Of course, Chen Shang wouldn't place his hopes on the rules. In the next few days, he first went to register, and then concocted a batch of Relive Dan S on the spot to gain the right to participate. The last time he turned into Hefeng, he went to the 6th shop and swindled a bottle of low-grade heaven-level healing pellet. This kind of pellet was sold for more than Hunyuan Dan, and the healing effect was many times better than Relive Dan's. Moreover, the refining difficulty was higher, and the materials were not easy to grow. Thus, when Chen Shang bought the ingredients for the origin-restoring pellet, he felt pained. Fortunately, we only have one set of main medicinal ingredients. If we use the God purification, we can consider it as having completed half of the mission as long as we settle this Baiyuan fruit. This is yet another new challenge. Chen Shang rented a pill refining room. It was the first prince's property, and although seizing the throne failed, their business here would not be affected. Aren't you going to refine that sacred animal Dan first? Long Shui asked softly. Chen Shang already had the sacred animal fruit, but he had never refined it. Don't worry, the difficulty in refining this sacred animal Dan is not high. If I can concoct this Yuan Dan, the sacred animal fruit would not be too difficult. Chen Shang removed some of the impurities from the Baiyuan fruit and placed them on his palm, releasing the 5 elements heavenly fire. His current flames were much stronger than before, and he could even release the rainbow heaven flame. However, that would consume a lot of energy, and even with 5 elements heavenly fire, the consumption rate of his innate chi was extremely fast. Looks like the 5 elements heavenly fire are not that useful either. I'll have to use the heaven flames. Chen Shang fused the 5 elements of a 5 elements heavenly fire together. The spirit of the Baiyuan fruit had to have a strong mental attack and strong flames in order to make it submit and then refine it bit by bit. Although the heaven flames of the heaven and earth were powerful, they consumed a lot of energy. After using it for 3 to 4 hours in a row, most of his innate chi was exhausted, so right now he could only use the heaven flames and the 5 elements heavenly fire back and forth. I still can't do it. It seems that the medicinal spirits of every single medicinal herb are very different. Chen Shang sighed in his heart. The Baiyuan fruit on his palm had already been burnt to a red iron state. The Hunyuan Dan was also a low-grade heaven-level pill, but when he had just started refining it, his progress had been rather smooth, but this Baiyuan fruit made him feel like he was blocked by a threshold that was difficult to buy. It's only a Baiyuan fruit. Even if it's the foreseeing alchemy, it's inevitable that it will fail the first time. Su Meiyao said. Different from the foreseeing alchemy, although using it is complicated, I still feel that it will succeed sooner or later. But now that I am using the God purification, I feel a sense of powerlessness, and that it will be very difficult to refine this Baiyuan fruit. Although Chen Shang said that, he still took out a Baiyuan fruit. These high-grade herbs had a very special ability to protect themselves. If one wanted to cut them into pieces, it was a relatively simple matter. But because of this, they had destroyed the complete nature of these herbs, causing the energy within to be lost. However, the medicine spirits of these medicinal ingredients would not allow you to do it so easily. They would resist, so when using flames to deal with these medicinal ingredients, it would become extremely difficult. If one was even the slightest bit careless, they would cause these medicinal ingredients to self-destruct. The foreseeing alchemy could predict the internal changes of the spirit medicine, and could correct the temperature of the flame as well as some small mistakes in various aspects. It could prevent the spirit medicine from destroying itself, and then slowly burn it. However, the god purification that Chen Shang was currently using, wanted to refine it all. This required a strong flame as well as a strong mental energy to attack the spirit within the spirit medicine, making it unable to resist. The problem Chen Shang was facing right now was that it was very difficult to deal with those spirits. He consecutively failed 4 times, but on the 5th time, he finally broke through to a point where he could save a little bit of the medicinal powder. However, he no longer had any extra Baiyuan fruit, so he could only get Su Meiyao to copy some of them using the creation divine liquid inside the ring. Chen Shang rested for 4 hours, then he refined the Baiyuan fruit once again. This time, he opened his eyes and looked at the Baiyuan fruit on his palm. From the start of the competition, it was only 1 day before Chen Shang walked out of the refining room. He had already lost more than 10 Baiyuan fruits, but this did not affect his enthusiasm for participating in the competition. When Chen Shang, who had been staying in the pill refining room, came out, he heard many shocking news, such as that the new generation genius, heavenly immortal Li Tianjin, would participate in the competition, and his old rival, the Bai Sha Dan Immortal, would also be participating. Other than that, many other famous Dan Immortals had already come, and these Dan Immortal were all the pillars of their power. Although the Dan Immortals were not very famous, no one dared to look down on them. It was said that there were still 7th-ranked Dan Immortals in the sacred Dan realm S, but they did not participate in the competition. I never thought that even the Long family of the sacred Dan realm would come. The one participating in the competition is a 5th-grade Dan Immortal. The 4 great families of the sacred Dan realm should be the opponents that the myriad Dan Immortal country values the most. Hearing the words of an old alchemist, Chen Zhang's heart was moved. If the Long family was here, then Long Huishan, the female dragon king, would also be present. Chapter 1329. I wonder if Xiaoling has followed them over. If Hefeng found out that Xiaoling was following Big Sis Long, there might be some trouble. Chen Shang touched his chin as he walked towards Myriad Dan building. The Myriad Dan building was now even more lively, and there were even more alchemists. Chen Shang walked around and was not able to find Li Tianjin, so he left a little disappointed, but just as he walked out of the main gate of Myriad Dan building, he saw an old acquaintance. Du Hai is a 3rd-grade Dan Immortal. At this time, he was following a few old men, chatting and laughing as he walked into the Myriad Dan building. This made Chen Shang think of Du Yanyao. Du Yanyao was also a female alchemist, but she did not follow him. I wonder if that last Shangyu and Qianqin will come. Chen Shang did not go and recognize Du Hai. His identity could not be revealed easily, otherwise the effects would be great, and he might not be able to participate in the tournament. Furthermore, he would be surrounded and killed by a large group of powerful forces. Chen Shang came to a shop that was opened here by the Divine Saber Immortal Palace, which specializes in selling magical equipment and immortal equipment. The Divine Saber Immortal Palace was a refining power, so the things that were refined there were pretty good. He had come here to pick out the pill furnaces, because he had heard that the pill furnaces used in the competition were all brought personally by himself, so he could not use the Yanlong furnace anymore, because there were too many people in Heaven Realm that could be found easily. Buying a lower-grade immortal pill furnace is enough, the main thing is that it can withstand heat and is sturdy. Su Meiyao warned him. She also did not recommend Chen Shang to use the Yanlong furnace S to compete, it was the holy level dragon equipment pill furnace. I can't afford it, it's too expensive. Chen Shang had seen quite a few, all of them had to have at least 10 million spiritual crystal. This little brother, from the looks of it, you seem to be a bit short on money. What kind of pill furnace do you need? What rank? The shopkeeper saw that Chen Shang was frowning and shook his head with a sigh, so he asked while laughing. I want a low-grade immortal pill furnace, but it's too expensive, I only have 6 million spiritual crystal. Chen Shang said honestly. The 1,000 spiritual crystal that he had previously won had been used up after just a few teleports. This is indeed a bit difficult. If you don't mind using old ones, there's one that's more suitable. It has a proper origin, so it won't bring you any trouble. The shopkeeper thought for a moment and took out a grey pill furnace that was about half the height of a person and had an appearance similar to a water jar. The appearance was very rough, with the appearance of a water tank. It was round and fat, and if one did not look carefully at the entrance to the fire below, one would see that it was clearly a water tank. Chen Shang opened the lid, looked inside and knocked it. He was quite satisfied with the materials. They were also low-grade immortal equipment and the high-grade materials were abundant. The array formations carved inside were all very good, just that their appearances were a little hard to accept. The person who created this pill furnace should have a rich experience in refining. However, why did he create such a shape? Chen Shang frowned. Good eye, this really is the work of a master. It's only 6 million spiritual crystal, how about it? The shopkeeper said with a smile. Su Meiyao said. Other than its poor appearance, everything else is pretty good, let's push down the price. Chen Shang had the same thought. He said, 4 million spiritual crystal, this pill furnace looks quite new, but I can see that it has been sold for more than 10 people's hands, and their appearance is not beautiful. If you keep it, it would be difficult for it to be sold. The shopkeeper looked around, and lowered his voice. Young man, this pill furnace is from the Devil Killing Summit A. I won't lie to you, there is a small immortal formation that only the people of Devil Killing Summit can draw. It's called the 7-star Skyfire formation. When refining pills, it absorbs the power of the stars, strengthening the flame. Quote. It is indeed the Devil Killing Summit's small immortal array. Only a small portion of people in the Devil Killing Summit would know about it. I don't understand it at all. Su Meiyao was also surprised. Chen Shang said in a low voice. You were saying earlier that it was a proper place. What kind of place is the Devil Killing Summit? If the enemies of the Devil Killing Summit were to find out that I am using this pill furnace, then I would be in deep trouble. Don't worry, we will give you a proof that the Divine Saber Immortal Palace sold it. It has nothing to do with you. The storekeeper hastily smiled apologetically. About 4 million spiritual crystal. I really don't have enough money on me. Besides, you should be able to tell that I'm going to participate in the competition. At that time, I might need some spiritual crystal to help me circulate my wealth. Chen Shang said. 4,500,000 spiritual crystal, each to take a step back. The manager sighed. Forget it, I'll buy it. The proof I got has to be reasonable. Otherwise, if I want to buy this pill furnace, it would be equivalent to buying a lethal weapon. Chen Shang warned the shopkeeper repeatedly. After Chen Shang came out of the shop, his face was filled with smiles because he felt that the pill furnace was not bad. Although it couldn't compare to his Yanlong furnace, it wouldn't be too bad if he used it to compete in competitions. This pill furnace also had a good name, called the 7 Stars Treasure Furnace, which was slightly stronger than the Yanlong furnace. Go to the registration place and see what kind of powerful alchemists are there. Chen Shang came to a palace not too far away from the palace. This was the Myriad Dan Immortal Palace. Every floor was as large as a plaza and as tall as 50 floors, and a portion of the floors below were for spectators. This Immortal Palace was usually used for large-scale competitions and auctions. Chen Shang walked in, looked around, and noticed that there were some chi coming out from some of the VIP rooms. He knew that when the time came, those strong warriors would hide inside the private rooms to watch the competition. The competition grounds in the middle was extremely huge, and there were seats placed everywhere, surrounded by many floors. There were a lot of people who could do it, and Chen Shang guessed that they would definitely have to charge a lot of entrance fees when the time came. Of Divine Wind and Immortal Country of Baihai are actually fighting. Who came to participate in the competition are threatening to not put Myriad Dan Immortal Country in their eyes, and are even saying that when the time comes, there will be a contest between them. Once Chen Shang entered, he heard these words, and immediately looked towards the direction of the voice, where a few old men were chatting. Immortal Country Baihai should be the White Sea Imperial Land. I wonder how Ji Meixian and Zhao Yipro found, the two little maid, I miss them a lot. She was once the famous Yuyi Immortal Fairy, but she had been beaten up by him, and she was even his female slave. Myriad Dan Immortal Country has offended too many people. They say that this competition has the greatest relationship with their Myriad Dan Immortal Country and Sacred Dan Realm, and does not even put others in their eyes. Thus, the other powers are not satisfied. Another old man said. Chen Shang walked over and asked, Seniors, the final reward has been announced yet? Chapter 1330. Chen Shang felt that the rewards of this competition wouldn't be too bad. Chen Shang felt that the rewards of this competition wouldn't be too bad. For the time being, I don't know. But the new king will definitely not give us anything inferior, so it would be too embarrassing for him to take it. An old man said. If someone called them seniors, they would naturally respond politely. Chen Shang knew that these few old men had stayed here for a long time and knew a lot of information. He also chatted with them and asked them about some things that he wanted to know. I heard that the newly established human king Immortal country also sent a group of alchemists to join in on the fun. That's for sure, this is a good chance to become famous. Even the Imperial Dragon clan who rarely participate in these kinds of things would send an Emperor Dragon who knows how to refine pills. There were also pill refiners in the Imperial Dragon clan. Chen Shang was a little shocked. What I'm more concerned about is the fight between this Li Tianjin brat and vansh.saran Immortal. This guy lost miserably last time, I don't know if he can win this time. vansh.saran Immortal is the head Dan Immortal, these core Dan Immortal. However, I feel that devil-suppressing Divine Palace's core Dan Immortal is quite interesting. Rumor has it that they're Dan Immortals who know how to use the demon-suppressing holy fire, and I don't know how powerful they will be. I really want to take a look. Chen Shang clenched his fist tightly. He could definitely use this kind of flame as well, it was ignited from the devil-suppressing holy power. This could not be counted as true holy level flame, the holy level flame was above the heavenly fire after all. Just as Chen Shang listened to the old geezers talk excitedly, the whole venue suddenly released a low voice from a man. Chen Shang could tell that it was the kind of lecherous shout a man would make when he sees a beauty. This was the location for the competition, and was also the place to register for the competition. Currently, there were 7,000 people there. Chen Shang immediately looked at the pathway for the competition and was startled. Even though her face was covered with a light veil, she was still extremely beautiful. Beside her, there was a mature beautiful woman who was on par with her, also wearing a veil, but that noble and dignified temperament, and that pair of gentle eyes, caused people to feel ashamed and inferior, and not dare to look directly at her. One of them was middle-aged, had a beard, had a very handsome face, looked very steady, and gave off a very strong feeling. On his face hung a light and gentle smile, while Lu Meng'er and the dignified beautiful woman stood at his two sides. That girl should be Lu Meng'er's mother, and the man must be her father. They are indeed two very powerful people. Long Shui said. For the time being, I can't see their strength clearly. Other than Lu Meng'er's family of 3, there were 2 other handsome youths who seemed to be quite strong. With a single glance, one could tell that they were disciples of famous sects. Elder Sister Meng'er is becoming more and more interesting. Chen Shang praised in his heart. Thinking about what had happened with Lu Meng'er, his heart rippled. Humph, hurry up and meet her. Long Shui scoffed. I won't do it, her parents are too awesome. What if they know about Elder Sister Meng'er's master and disciples and me? Ahem, I will be beaten to death. Chen Shang curled his lips and said. When Lu Meng'er and the others arrived, the place became much quieter. It was obvious with a glance that they were not ordinary people, and had also come to register for the competition. What surprised everyone was that the one who registered was Lu Meng'er's mother. Chen Shang remembered that Lu Meng'er did not say that her mother was also a pill refiner. I'm only registering for someone else's place. It should be okay if that person still hasn't come. Lu Meng'er's mother said softly. Of course you can, name. The old man nodded. Xiao Profoundian. Hearing the name, Chen Shang only frowned his eyebrows slightly, because he had never heard of the name before, but the others started exclaiming in surprise. From the discussions of the crowd, Chen Shang found out that this Xiao Profoundian was his senior brother's wife. Back then Hua Shangyu had said it before, that her master was senior brother Chen Zhang's wife. He had already been in the heaven realm for a while, but until now, he hadn't seen senior brother. Chen Zhang's eldest senior brother and wife were people that were at the same time as her parents, so it was normal that they had a good relationship with each other. What made him a little depressed was that at that time, he might even fight with Xiao Profoundian. Teacher, this old lunatic didn't mention anything about eldest senior brother to me last time, so I should take me to see him. Chen Shang complained in his heart. Chen Shang watched from afar. He really wanted to go and see Lu Meng'er, but now was not the right time. Meng'er, you're here too. Is Shangyu not coming? Long Huishan suddenly walked in, her entire body releasing a dense dragon qi, donning a set of armor, giving off the aura of a female dragon king. Although her beauty was already very attractive, her imposing manner made her even more charming. Another incredible female expert had arrived. Everyone was secretly surprised. Her master is already here, she definitely won't participate. I heard that the person sent by your Long family is a 5th grade Dan Immortal. Lu Meng'er asked with a smile. The person I sent is definitely a very strong Dan Immortal. We will definitely get first place this time. Long Huishan said very confidently. Didn't you already register? Who are you registering for now? Her relationship with Long Huishan was not bad, and all of this was because of Chen Shang. I came to see if that little bastard Chen Shang had registered. He had already ascended, yet he was cowering like a tortoise all day. Even at a time like this, he still didn't show himself. When Long Huishan talked about Chen Shang, he was a little angry in his heart. Of course Chen Shang wanted to, but he had done a lot of things recently. If he were to jump out now, there would definitely be people who would connect the dots, and at that time, he would definitely not be able to participate in the tournament smoothly. I'm afraid he won't come. If he does, then no one will fight anymore. Just killing him and stealing his treasures is enough. Lu Meng'er said in a low voice. What's there to be afraid of? I'll protect him. I'll behead whoever dares to snatch him away. Long Huishan said loudly. Chen Shang left through the other door. He was worried that he would be pushed to the point of jumping out. From the start of the competition, there were many famous alchemists who came one after another, and only after carrying out the examination would they be able to obtain the qualifications to participate. Chen Shang did not do anything else. Instead, he spent his time strolling around, inquiring about some information that was useful to him, such as the recent movements of the great powers that had enmity with him, and the number of people who came. I wonder where Master is. I wonder where this crazy old man is hiding, eating and drinking. Chen Shang sat on the roof, looked at the setting sun, and softly sighed. Chapter 1331. Of course I know her. She is your second senior sister. That little girl Shangyu can be considered the disciple of your eldest senior brother and his wife. Huang Jintian said. What happened? Didn't you say you only have 2 disciples, me and Big Senior? Why did a second senior sister appear? Chen Shang expressed his confusion. She concocts pills. Have you ever taught her how to refine pills? Huang Jintian laughed. I didn't teach you how to refine pills, but you are also very powerful. I only accepted her as my disciple when I came to the heaven realm, because she has strengthened the relationship between her and your big brother. Furthermore, she is older than you, so I made an exception and made her my second disciple. Chen Shang was not satisfied. No, we can't break this rule, we have to follow the order of first come first served, she is my junior sister. Do as you please. When the time comes, go and argue with her. She's a girl who has a strong battle of words. If you can argue with her, the number 2 position will belong to you. Huang Jintian said casually, but she respects me a lot. I was so poor when I first came to Heaven Realm, she gave me a lot of spiritual crystal, and even gave me a pellet she refined, but if I let you bargain for a broken bird leg, then this girl will be more generous than you, HMPH. Quote. Master, you can't say it like that. When you were sleeping on the street, I gave you more than half of my spiritual crystal, and now you're pretty rich too. You're obviously trying to cheat me out of my bird leg, so I can't give it to you for nothing. Chen Shang wiped his nose, unconvinced. Master, why are you following me? Originally, it was Huang Jintian who pulled Chen Shang, but now, it was Huang Jintian who followed Chen Shang. I don't have a place to stay for the time being. You brat, last time you won against tens of millions of spiritual crystal, you still have a lot of them, right? Huang Jintian said. I will only leave after watching your competition. After that, Chen Shang brought Huang Jintian to a very run-down place. He rented a run-down house here, and this made Huang Jintian scold him for being stingy. Master, I just bought a pill furnace, I'm so poor, don't despise me, why don't you go look for eldest senior brother and junior sister, they will definitely be eating and drinking high-quality food. Master, I just bought a pill furnace, I'm so poor, don't you hate them, why don't you hate them? Chen Shang said. Little brat, do you really not know that I am like you, unable to reveal my identity? Huang Jintian drank the meat broth Chen Shang passed to him, then laughed. You brat, not bad, the golden rock bone soup is not something that anyone can drink. You don't have any green dragon demon slain broadsword on you, and you don't cause any trouble. Isn't it just the Taiji dragon suppressed Kung Fu, eldest brother also dares to run around the streets, what are you afraid of? Chen Shang sat down to drink the soup. He indeed did not know why Huang Jintian was like him, afraid of being harassed by others. Huang Jintian finished the bowl of soup in one breath, and got Chen Shang to help him fill the bowl. With a serious expression, he said, "After you promise to not think about me." Chen Shang glanced at Huang Jintian and asked, "Master, do you really have some kind of extraordinary treasure on you?" "HMPH, of course," Huang Jintian said proudly. Chen Shang gave the soup to him and asked curiously, "I promise I won't get any ideas from you, what precious things do you have on you?" Huang Jintian chuckled. "I don't have anything precious, it's just that my flesh and blood is more precious. Eating it will help me live forever, and it's many times better than any pills that can increase my lifespan, this is already enough, right?" Chen Shang took a deep breath. This was indeed enough, to be able to make many powerful experts with close to longevity do things that would break the rules. Some of the super experts were even able to use some high-leveled pills, but they were unable to increase their lifespan. Looks like the legend is true. Eating the undead race's flesh and blood will truly help one live forever. Su Meiyao exclaimed. Bai Yuyu and Long Shuiyi were the same. Huang Jintian saw that Chen Shang was looking at him strangely, and immediately shrank his body and said, "You brat, don't think about me, my blood is not good, my meat is very bad." "Master, if you're really poor, you could earn a lot even if you sold your blood and meat," Chen Shang said. "That would be tantamount to violating clan rules, and would be struck by lightning by the heavens. I would not do that." Huang Jintian shook his head. Chen Shang took out a few small pieces of golden rock meat and started a fire to let Huang Jintian roast the meat. Huang Jintian could not wait any longer, he was even treating Chen Shang to food, of course he would be very happy to do so. "Master, what kind of people are the parents of elder sister Menge'er? They seem to be very strong," Chen Shang asked. Huang Jintian had flown up here for a period of time, so he should know something. "Her father's name is Lu Zongyu and my mother's name is Song Ying. Their Lu family and Song family both have relatively prosperous immortal palaces in the Human King Immortal country, and originally, these two families only had about 10 or so immortal palaces under their control. However, even though they were not kings, their status was still very high in the Human King Immortal country." While Huang Jintian was flipping through the golden rock meat, he said, "The most amazing thing is not this, but the master of this couple. It is said that they are the descendants of a divine craftsman and have great influence." "So it's like that." Chen Shang never thought that Lu Menge'er's father and mother's background would be so profound and abundant. However, it also made him feel a lot more at ease. Huang Jintian chuckled. "If little girl Lu's parents knew that you had that kind of relationship with her, then you would be in trouble. But don't be afraid, her parents are still very reasonable. You're the one who is despicable. Even if I'm despicable, I'm still learning from you." Chen Shang fiercely bit off a piece of meat. "Are you confident you can get first place? Many Dan Immortal have come?" Huang Jintian asked. "I don't know yet, but Li Tianjin will also be participating, but I'm definitely confident that I can get one of the top rankings in the first round." Chen Shang was very confident. "I am just worried that I might be forced to reveal my identity in the end, that will depend on whether the prizes are powerful enough or not. Give me some benefits. If anything happens, I will bring you away. Even if Dragon Emperor is here, I will not be caught by him," Huang Jintian said with a smile. "Master, we are master and disciple. You saving me is a matter of course. What benefits do you want?" Chen Shang laughed. "Bro, you know how to settle debts." Huang Jintian laughed. "I'll give you a bird's claw, okay," Chen Shang said. If an accident were to happen, Huang Jintian would be able to bring him away and not drag anyone into it, that would be for the best. Although Huang Jintian's strength was unknown, but Chen Shang was very confident in this mysterious madman's master. "A bird's claw is a bird's claw, isn't it better?" Huang Jintian laughed. If not for the fact that he was afraid of the broken house falling to pieces, he would have laughed crazily. Chapter 1332. Chen Shang did not sleep at all and had roasted meat with Huang Jintian for an entire night. There was also the meat of dragon and golden rock, as well as some precious immortal beasts that Huang Jintian had collected. After eating precious beast meat for an entire night, Chen Shang was brimming with energy. As soon as the sky brightened, he and Huang Jintian walked towards the myriad Dan Immortal Palace. Huang Jintian had already bought a sign to watch the competition from, and it was even the one at the front. No one knew how he obtained it, but for the alchemist that was participating, Chen Shang did not need to buy them. "Do you really not intend to meet with your juniors in secret?" Chen Shang sent a sound transmission to Huang Jintian. He had already treated Xiao Profoundian as his own junior sister, and he had already decided that he would not acknowledge the person who had taken him as his master even if it were beaten to death. No need. Your senior brother and sister must not have a better reputation than ours. For the time being, don't disturb them. Although they also want to see me, we must have some awareness if we are to walk on this path. Huang Jintian said. After entering the 10,000 Dan Immortal Palace, Huang Jintian pulled Chen Shang along, looked in a direction and said, "That guy is called Wu Kanghong, he's the little Baldi's ancestor and the king of the current human king Immortal country." Chen Shang had already seen Wu Kanghong before, and he knew that Wu Kanghong was a cultivator, just that his conditions were not as good as his. Now that he had personally seen Wu Kanghong, Chen Shang actually wanted to go and thank him. The lad and the little Baldi didn't come. Chen Shang asked. With that lousy strength of theirs, how could they dare to come? They've all gone into seclusion to cultivate. Right now, your senior apprentice brother is keeping them in check. Only the little girl, Shangyu, has a bit of ease. Huang Jintian said. Ji Yu Dongchen and Wu Kaming were both disciples of his big senior brother Wang Weiquan. After flying to Heaven Realm, they met once again as master and disciple. Alchemist entered the huge competition grounds in the middle one by one. It was not a problem for them to store tens of thousands of alchemists' pills. Chen Shang greeted Huang Jintian and then queued up to enter the venue. When entering, he needed to take out the pill furnace for the people at the entrance to inspect it. Although there were a lot of alchemists participating, but there were also quite a lot of immortal kings spectating, and some were strong, it would not be easy for them to do anything in front of these experts. If anyone did that, the consequences would be dire. After Chen Shang entered the arena, he surveyed his surroundings. He was shocked by the amount of people who came to spectate the competition. There were a lot of them, and they formed a large circle with many levels that covered the surroundings. Chen Shang did not see Lu Munger and the others, but rather, they were probably sitting in some VIP booths. Many people looked at Chen Shang, because his water vat-like pill furnace was too eye-catching, attracting a few people's laughter, but Chen Shang did not agree. He used several million spiritual crystals to buy it. If it was new and not from the devil-suppressing Kung Fu, then it could at least be sold for tens of millions of spiritual crystal, which was not something that anyone could afford. This brat is such a bastard. He even said that he would be poor after buying a pill furnace, and that he would buy this shitty thing. Huang Jintian did not know how powerful that pill furnace was either. After many alchemists entered the stage, they placed the pill furnace in front of them and then stood there, waiting for the competition to start. Chen Shang glanced at the pill furnaces of the other alchemist. Li Tianjin is here. Chen Shang heard someone shout, and looked towards the entrance. He saw a handsome man standing there, waiting for someone to inspect his pill furnace. So this fellow actually has a very young pill refiner. Before this, he always pretended to be an old man. Chen Shang thought. Sister Meiyao, is his pill furnace powerful? Exquisite grade immortal furnace, what do you think? Su Meiyao said. That's so much worse than mine. My Yanlong furnace is a holy level dragon tool. Chen Shang said. It's a pity that it's too dazzling, and cannot be used carelessly. If the prize is very precious, then so be it. Su Meiyao said. That crazy master of yours is not simple. He said that he had the ability to bring you away, you should really be able to do it. Not long after Li Tianjin walked in, a burst of cheers came from the crowd. At this time, the Bai Sha Dan Immortal came in, wearing a unique fiery red robe. It was a middle-aged lady, she was not the old granny from the rumors. This pill furnace is also a top-grade immortal furnace, but it's much more valuable than her previous Jade Cloud treasure furnace. Su Meiyao said. The following people who entered the stage were all famous Dan Immortals, but Chen Shang had never heard of them, so he did not really understand much about them. His junior sister had finally arrived, dressed in light attire and a simple ponytail. Her face was free of any veil, revealing a beautiful face. There was a smile on her face, and she was holding a dark green pill furnace. Chen Shang didn't think that Xiao Profoundian was also very famous. He was not one bit inferior to Li Tianjin, Bai Sha Dan Immortal and other great powers top Dan Immortals, such as Devil-suppressing Divine Palace, Divine Wind Immortal Country, White Sea Immortal Country, and those like Divine Saber Immortal Palace A. Only Nudu Hai, his pill refining skills were not bad, and he was very famous in the sacred Dan realm. On the other hand, the alchemist of the Long family was an old granny. Although many people had never heard of it, when Chen Shang saw this old granny, they all respected her as well. This grandma is so amazing. it seems like there is the profounding sacred flame, which should be the true sacred flame. I never thought that the Long family would have such a powerful person. Long Shui said in shock. No wonder Li Tianjin said that this was the stage of the Dan Immortal. We little fellows only came to join in on the fun. I didn't expect that I would compete with so many powerful alchemists so early. Chen Shang thought. He did not feel that it was difficult at all, he had the confidence to get first place. It's not the highest level of competition yet, the highest is probably just a 5th stage Dan Immortal. Those 7th or 8th stage Dan Immortal are the strongest, but they should all be watching from the side. If they were to participate in this competition, the other Dan Immortal would immediately withdraw, and those old monsters are the real powerful ones. Su Meiyao said. All the alchemists were present, but Chen Shang did not find anyone else he was familiar with. As expected, Hua Shangyu and Wu Qianqian did not come, but Chen Shang guessed that they were watching from the side. Next, the new king He Piqing came up to read out the competition rules. He was the previous 6th prince. Chen Shang had seen him last time at the palace. What Chen Shang cared about was the reward. Other people might have come to compete with him or to join in on the fun, but Chen Shang was doing it for the reward. Previously, there were rumors saying that the final reward would be announced at this time. Chen Shang was secretly looking forward to it. Chapter 1333. Many people guessed that the reward would be holy level herbs, but Chen Shang did not think so, because He Piqing's Tiantian holy fruit was tricked away by him, so even if He Piqing still had the holy level herbs, he would definitely not be willing to take them out right now. As for the top grade immortal medicines, they were definitely not, because in many people's eyes, they were too cheap. He Piqing stood on stage and took out a square black chest. It was the final reward of this competition, causing everyone to start discussing and guessing what kind of thing was inside. The square black box was not big and could be held up with one hand. It could not be a large object, rather it seemed to be filled with medicinal herbs. However, it was usually held in a jade box. At that moment, only Chen Shang was shocked by the sight of the box, because there was a very small pattern on top of the box. He had previously obtained a map and there was this pattern on the back of the map, and that pattern represented the Dan Emperor, only the Dan Emperor could draw that pattern. The things inside are related to the Dan Emperor. Chen Shang frowned as he looked at the box in the distance. He wanted to use the Chaos Divine Eye to see through it, but he was blocked by something. When Chen Shang looked at the faces of the powerful Dan Immortals, he unexpectedly realized that they had the same shocked expression as him, as if they knew the origin of the pattern. Is it something related to the Dan Emperor? The old lady had been squinting her eyes the entire time. When the box appeared, she immediately opened her eyes wide, but from her pair of bright eyes, she was not at the end of her life, but was filled with vitality which did not match with her aged appearance. It really is the heaven realm. There are a few people who know about the Dan Emperor. Chen Shang thought. Hearing Dan Emperor, many people were at a loss, but they knew that he was strong, and only a few Dan Immortals had faces full of shock, at the same time looking at the box with fiery eyes. Since it is the reward of the alchemy competition, it will definitely be related to alchemy. Now, I can tell everyone, there is a cauldron inside the box. This cauldron is very extraordinary. Dan Emperor used to refine pills. This cauldron was once created by a divine craftsman, and was used by divine craftsmen for a period of time. Speaking till here, the entire competition grounds erupted in exclamations, even He Piqing could not continue. Some were surprised, but others did not believe it. Why don't you keep the things that the blacksmith used? That's right, it had been used by 2 famous people before. No matter what, it should be a sacred weapon, and this thing is many times more precious than holy level herbs. Chen Shang also expressed his doubts. He had used divine craftsmen to create and use it, and even Dan Emperor had used it later on. If it was true, even if he brought it back to give face, the meaning behind it would be worth a lot. Everyone, please be quiet. He Piqing shouted out loud, his voice shaking the ears of everyone present. There were more than 100,000 people on the scene, and the ruckus was extremely annoying. Now that it had suddenly quieted down, it seemed a little strange. He Piqing took out that cauldron. It was very small, like an incense burner, a 3-legged black cauldron. The cauldron was circular, and was extremely bright. The little cauldron was spinning in He Piqing's hand, and everyone could see a very small pattern at the bottom of the cauldron. It was unique to the Dan Emperor, and at the same time, it was a small black hammer sculpture by his side. This black hammer had many very small spirit grains on it. If they looked carefully, they would realize that the small hammer was carved from many spirit grain that had interweaved together. It was the mark of a divine craftsman, and what he Piching said was true. These two marks were enough to prove that the little cauldron had once been used by the Dan Emperor and divine craftsman. Everyone also discovered that there was a problem. The small cauldron did not have a lid. After this cauldron has been recognized, we can control its size with our will. Everyone should have discovered that this cauldron has no lid, so its value will be greatly reduced. However, it is still very precious. He Piching said with regret. I made a very big decision before I took it out as a reward. Without the cover, it can only be used for viewing. To forge a lid suitable for this cauldron, it would be extremely difficult. Even if we were able to create one, we cannot display the full power of this cauldron. A Dan Immortal said, however, the significance of this cauldron is great. As the final reward for this competition, it is still too valuable. Actually, not only can this cauldron be used for refining pills, it can also be used for combat. The largest part of this cauldron can become the size of a house, and it's also very heavy, and it's most suitable for defense. At the same time, it can also be used as a storage magic treasure. He Piching's words caused Chen Shang and Huang Jintian's eyes to light up, because if there was such a thing, then in the future, they would have to kill dragons and emperor birds. If you want to recreate the Suzaku divine weapon in the future, you can only rely on this cauldron. Although you lack a lid, but don't you have a map that the Dan Emperor left behind? Su Meiyao said. To Chen Shang, his divine power was enough to form a lid, so the flaw of having no lid on this cauldron was not a problem. It's not easy to get them. Look at the looks in the eyes of those old fellows, as if they want to eat this cauldron alive. I'm under a lot of pressure. Chen Shang said. He was currently sparring with a large group of Dan Immortals, after all. If he wanted to get first place, it was truly a mystery. Next, everyone, I will give you another hour to adjust your condition. The first round of the competition will begin in an hour. After He Piching finished speaking, he immediately placed the small cauldron into the box and kept it. He could not bear the gazes of the old Dan Immortal either. Chen Shang closed his eyes and concentrated on meditating. He was now very serious, because he really wanted that cauldron. In a private room, Lu Zongyu saw He Piching keep the cauldron and sighed helplessly. As expected, the divine furnace is in He Clan's hands. Lu Munger's parents were the disciples of the divine craftsman, so they had a certain understanding of the cauldron. Song Ying smiled lightly. Didn't Master already say that you don't need to care about this divine furnace? That is the work of the ancestor, and we need to create our own divine cauldron in the future. That is the thing that we should care about. Mother, the Suzaku silk I have right now belongs to Grand Master. Lu Munger asked. Even though she was in charge of the divine weapon sect in the past, she was now an obedient daughter by her parents' side. Your senior thought that the Suzaku silk could only protect you at most, but who would have thought that after so long, you actually obtained the approval of the Suzaku silk and could use this divine tool. You must take good care of him in the future. Song Ying kindly caressed Lu Munger's hair. Chapter 1334. Lu Munger nodded his head slightly. The Suzaku silk was something that Chen Shang had helped her obtain, but she did not say it out loud. She also did not mention anything about Chen Shang possessing a profound Wu diamond armor. Not only that, she knew that Chen Shang had the thought of refining a new Suzaku divine weapon, that the Suzaku divine weapon's plan for number 2 was in that divine book, that she and Dongfang Xinyue had cracked it, that it was a bow that needed the vermilion bird skeleton to refine, and Chen Shang had it too. These things were definitely earth-shattering, so she and Dongfang Xinyue kept it a secret and never revealed it to anyone else. I never thought that the Suzaku silk would be with Munger. This is the Suzaku divine weapon in the 4 symbols divine weapons. Wang Weiquan was also here. He was Huang Jintian's eldest disciple, and had a very good relationship with Lu Munger's parents when he was at Mortal Realm. Even more so now, he wasn't afraid of him finding out about the matters regarding Suzaku divine weapon. My junior brother has a green dragon demon slain broadsword, that's the Azure Dragon divine weapon. Because of this, many people have set their sights on him, causing him to ascend in power. He doesn't even dare show his face. Wang Weiquan laughed. I really want to meet this troublemaker, to be able to stir up so many problems. Lu Munger looked at the quiet arena and said, maybe he's already here. Lu Zongyu said, Shenxian told me before, He is always sneaky, but if he wants to sneak in right now, I'm afraid it won't be that easy. Many guest rooms have enemies on them. At this time, Wu Kanghong walked in and laughed. Just now, I passed by a VIP room. I heard that He Piqing's Tiantian holy fruit was taken off by someone. That's why I summoned the divine tripod right now. I think the Dan Immortal that he sent out is under a lot of pressure. He sent 10 powerful Dan Immortals. Who knows, this divine cauldron might really fall into his hands. What you mean is, the Tiantian holy fruit were stolen. Who has that kind of ability? Lu Zongyu asked in shock. It's not that they were robbed, or else they would have definitely started a fight. I heard that they were somehow taken away by someone else. I'm not too sure about the specifics. Wu Kanghong laughed. I would also like to know which expert did this, to be able to make He Piqing suffer such a loss. Song Ying frowned. Looks like this 10,000 pills main palace is hiding some kind of extraordinary guy. Someone who can use 2 kinds of super old poison, and also someone who can steal the Tiantian holy fruit. We have to be a little careful. Maybe the same person did it. Wang Weiquan said. Just as they were chatting, they suddenly realized that 3 immortal kings from the myriad Dan immortal country had entered the competition and arrived next to Chen Shang. Chen Shang, who was still meditating, immediately opened his eyes when he felt the dangerous aura approaching him. At this moment, everyone's attention was focused on him. Surrounded by the 3 immortal kings, the person who was able to enjoy such treatment should be a very strong person. This is Devil Killing Summit's pill furnace. You are Devil Killing Summit's man. He Piqing, who was standing on the stage, flew over and asked with furrowed brows. Back when Chen Shang and Huang Jintian snuck into the palace, they had already claimed that they were from Devil Killing Summit, but when Chen Shang slipped away from the palace, Huang Jintian went missing, so He Piqing and the rest suspected that it was someone from Devil Killing Summit. No, Chen Shang immediately responded. I bought this pill furnace from Divine Saber Immortal Palace, here is their proof of it. Chen Shang took out the proof. When he bought it back then, he had also predicted that something like this would happen. At this time, another 3 immortal kings came and surrounded him. This kind of battle array caused many people to be shocked, but hearing that it had to do with the Devil Killing Summit, everyone felt that it was normal, as the Devil Killing Summit's reputation and infamy were known by everyone. That pill furnace was indeed sold by our Divine Saber Immortal Palace, don't make it difficult for him. A thunderous shout came from a VIP room. The water vat-like pill furnace had previously become the laughing stock of others, but now that they found out that it belonged to the Devil Killing Summit, no one dared to look down on it. Of course, they admired this person who dared to use the things of the Devil Killing Summit even more, so were they not afraid of being accidentally killed. Some of the big shots of the big powers had already found out about He Piqing's loss of a Tiantian holy fruit. Seeing how concerned they were for a Devil Killing Summit, they knew that it was very possible that the Tiantian holy fruit was taken away by the people of the Devil Killing Summit. At the same time, it also caused many great powers to become cautious, because it had been a long time since the people of Devil Killing Summit had done such a thing. The Divine Saber Immortal Palace had already said this, so He Piqing and the others did not make things difficult for Chen Shang. The immortal kings quickly dispersed. Chen Shang heaved a sigh of relief. He almost couldn't continue the competition anymore. You can be considered a member of the Devil Killing Summit, and now you're using the Devil Killing Summit's pill furnace to participate in the competition. Does this count as representing the Devil Killing Summit? Su Meiyao laughed. You can say that, but I don't dare to say it out loud. I'm afraid I'll lose my life. Chen Shang touched the pill furnace. He liked this pill furnace a little because the 7-star Skyfire formation inside was very powerful. He only needed to put in a little flame and that 7-star Skyfire formation could absorb the star power that was floating in the sky and earth and strengthen the flame inside. There are 10 people on the stage, and each of them has 10 different types of ground-level pills, including low, middle and high rank. And now that the low-rank ground-level S have been distributed, after that, the competition will immediately begin. There were a lot of alchemists here, so there was definitely a lot of medicinal herbs that were needed, but to myriad Dan Immortal country, there was not much pressure. An old man opened a big box, and a large amount of 9 quenching body Dan's medicinal herbs immediately flew out, and under the control of many immortal kings, they accurately split the boxes and floated to the sides of the alchemist. The 3 main ingredients for 9 quenching body Dan were lava fruit, Vajra Lingzi and yellow jade lotus seed. Chen Shang was extremely familiar with these 3 main ingredients. You guys can take the supplementary medicine first. If you don't have it, you can come and get it from us. Every alchemist had a portion of the 9 quenching body dan's main medicinal ingredient, so of course everyone had the auxiliary medicinal ingredients. Anyone who came to participate in this kind of competition had long been prepared. The match begins. Seeing that all the alchemists were ready, He Piching immediately shouted. After that, many alchemists started to organize the main ingredients. Everyone frowned, because the quality of these ingredients was not very good. Many of the alchemists present also took out some crappy medicinal herbs for them to refine, and there were quite a few high-level alchemists who were able to turn corruption into magic. In this way, in the end, through this method, He Piching managed to turn a large amount of dilapidated medicinal ingredients that had been stored in his storage into high-quality pills. Chapter 1335, Earth Grade Low Rank Dan gets 1 point, Middle Grade gets 2 points, and High Grade gets 3 points. When everyone comes up to pick the herbs, you should consider carefully. The limit for each herb taken is 10 portions. After the refinement is done, you can pick from the new batch. If there are more people, you will have to queue up, so the timing is very crucial. An old man said. Chen Shang guessed that there would definitely be a lot of Dan Immortals who would choose to refine high-grade ground-level pills later. He was worried that the medicine would get a strong glow, and when that happened, refining middle and low-grade pills would not be worth it. Many people only paid attention to the famous alchemists. These were all Dan Immortals. They organized the ingredients very quickly and their methods were all different. Their speeds were unexpectedly all the same, putting the ingredients into the furnace at the same time. The tens of thousands of alchemists in the huge competition were lined up in neat rows, but there were different pill furnaces. Some of them were even emitting bright red light. There were many pill furnaces that were extremely beautiful, causing people to be unable to catch up. As long as he finished refining this furnace, it could be considered the true start of the competition. This furnace was equivalent to being able to gain as much time as possible by being able to immediately go to the 10 elders on the stage to gather the medicinal ingredients. Otherwise, if there were too many people, they would have to queue up and waste a lot of time in the beginning. The competition lasted for 1 day and 1 night. Everyone had a very rare amount of time. A moment passed, and a few Dan Immortals had already opened their eyes. It was clear that they had completed condensing their pellets. These Dan Immortals included Li Tianjin, Bai Sha Dan Immortal, the mysterious old lady from the Long family, as well as the various famous Dan Immortals. The maximum speed at which 9 quenching body Dan can be refined is also that, and these Dan Immortal can all reach this speed, so it was completed at almost the same time. The faster one was the old lady from the Long family. She had already opened up the pill furnace, but right at this moment, Chen Shang, who was carrying his water vat pill furnace, flew past a large distance, straight to the old man in front of the stage. Chen Shang opened the pill furnace and took out 3 9 quenching body Dan-s. At this moment, everyone's eyes were on his water jar pill furnace, and when they saw the 3 batches of 9 quenching body Dan-s, they all started to cry out. It's actually 3 9 quenching body Dan-s. Li Tianjin frowned slightly. He knew that this person was Chen Shang, but he was still a little surprised. It was because those medicinal herbs were all rotten, yet Chen Shang actually refined 3 pills at such a fast speed, a little faster than them, the famous Dan Immortal. Although it was just 1 point, it meant that Chen Shang had surpassed their limit. Many Dan Immortal looked at Chen Shang seriously, wanting to see what kind of person he was. 10 sets of 5 elements profound Dan. Chen Shang said, his voice somewhat quick. He was very serious right now, because he really wanted that little cauldron. Amongst the high-grade ground levels pills, the number of 5 elements profound Dan that came out was the most. Even though the difficulty of refining it was very high, it was nothing to Chen Shang, which was why he chose this type of pill. Such a clever little fellow. If I had known earlier, I would have brought the pill furnace up as well. I might have been faster than you. The old lady laughed as she stood behind Chen Shang. When he went up carrying the furnace, it was also exactly at the time when the pill condensation was completed. There was indeed a bit of time left, and seeing Chen Zhang's actions, many Dan Immortals also followed suit. Chen Shang obtained 10 batches of 5 elements profound Dan-s and quickly returned to his own position. The old lady also had 3 9 quenching body Dan-s, which showed how strong her skills were. Chen Shang used the god purification, adding on to the fact that he himself cultivated the divine way, he could unexpectedly refine a few more pills. Right after the old lady was Bai Sha Dan Immortal, then Li Tianjin, and then his junior sister Xiao Profoundian. They had chosen 5 elements profound Dan, and there were also relived Dan-s. In order to prevent alchemists from choosing only one herb, the palace had to adjust the quality of the herbs. The Relive Dan S, on the other hand, produced many pills, so the quality of the herbs was poor. Therefore, when some Dan Immortal S obtained the 5 elements Profound Dan's medicinal ingredients, they would immediately switch to Relive Dan S because the medicinal ingredients were not good. Even Li Tianjin and the Bai Sha Dan Immortal had no choice but to choose a Relive Dan. What's this person's name? Go and have a look, he's hiding something. He Piqing said to the old man beside him. His name is Yu Gang. He should be a fake name. I'm afraid it will be difficult to find him. The old man said. To be able to use a portion of inferior quality medicinal herbs to refine 3 of them in the shortest amount of time, the level of display would definitely surpass those of the Dan Immortal S. Thus, Chen Shang immediately attracted the attention of many big shots. Chen Shang knew, if he wanted to take first place, he could not hide his strength. There were too many Dan Immortal here, if he did not bring out his strongest abilities, it would be hard for him to fight them. I heard that the last time Chen Shang participated in the competition in Sacred Dan Realm, he also had 3 pellets in a pot, and one of them was from the peak quality. Quote. Long Huishan said, in the VIP box that she was in, there were a few elders. One of them had a head full of white hair, but it shone with a pure white light. That's right, I was watching the competition from the side. Is the person in front of me Chen Shang? Yan Zilan wore a purple dress and sat beside Long Huishan. Her beautiful eyes were like water as she looked at the water jar furnace. Very high elder, can you see anything from this person? Long Huishan looked at the old man whose hair was emitting white light and asked respectfully. There were no wrinkles on this old man's face. His skin was as white as an infant's and had a rosy complexion. However, he had an extremely aged aura around him. It was as if he had lived for countless years and was exuding an ancient aura. He doesn't have a dantian, or I can't feel his dantian. The flames are the 5 elements heavenly fire and an even more powerful flame that is changing back and forth. The changes inside the pill furnace are very strange, violent and unstable, but they are very regular. He isn't using the foreseeing alchemy to refine pills. The old man stroked his long, white brows as a surprised light flashed in his deep eyes. Can you feel the dragon power on his body? Or maybe it's the devil suppressing holy power. Chen Shang has this aura on his body. Long Huishan asked again. No, I can't sense his dantian, so I can't be sure. The very high elder shook his head, but this gives me a very scary feeling. Every time his heart beats, I feel like this heaven realm will be destroyed. Can you confirm that he is Chen Shang? Long Huishan really wanted to see Chen Shang right now, but there was no way to contact him. No, the very high elder shook his head. Yan Zilan chuckled. Wei Shan, wait a little longer, this is just the beginning, I think he will definitely come. He likes to join in the fun, how can he be absent from this kind of thing? It's just that it's not convenient for him to appear, you should understand his current situation. Chapter 1336. Chen Shang began to refine the first batch of 5 elements Profound Dan, but a moment later, the famous Dan Immortal S all took out high-grade ground-level pills one after another from their pill furnaces. What's going on? Why are they so fast? Chen Shang said in surprise. These Dan Immortal S were not that fast when they were refining the Earth-grade low-rank Dan, but now, they were much faster than him when he was refining upper ground-level S, especially the old lady from the Long family. She had refined a pot of 5 elements Profound Dan, and there were 3 of them. Their pill furnaces, these Dan Immortal S need a long time to refine high-grade immortal pills, so most of their pill furnaces have time formation S that shorten the time. They did not use them just now, probably because they did not expect there to be so many Dan Immortal S with such high standards. Su Meiyao said. The Long family's Dan Immortal was currently the most eye-catching because she used the inferior 5 elements Profound Dan S to refine pills. If she could produce 3 pills in one furnace, the Dan Immortal who made the Relive Dan could only produce 2 pills in one pot. However, the old lady's speed was also slower than the other alchemist. There was no need to mention Li Tianjin and the Bai Sha Dan Immortal, their speed was even faster. Almost not long after placing the medicinal ingredients in, they were able to open the lid to take the pellets. Before Chen Shang had even finished one furnace, others had already finished 2. Previously, he had received praise from many, but not for long, he had lost it because those Dan Immortal S had used their strongest abilities and had completely covered him. It seems like they are fighting for the top 3 positions, only the top 3 can obtain the pills they refined. No one wants to give the pills they refined to He Piqing. Su Meiyao said. You have to hurry. If this goes on, you won't even be in the top 3. However, Chen Shang was still very calm. In this kind of nervous atmosphere, every alchemist, whether they were from the Dan Immortal or the Pill sect, appeared very anxious. Only he gave people a very calm feeling, and was not affected by the atmosphere. Chen Shang paid great attention to refining the 5 elements profound Dan, and helped him observe the progress of the Dan Immortal S. The quality of these medicinal ingredients are all very poor. Don't tell me that you're trying your best to concoct more pills. Su Meiyao asked. She had thought that Chen Shang would immediately speed up. Yes, I can't use the supplementary ingredients that I brought myself right now, so I can only pour the creation divine liquid into the flame. That way, I can replenish the spirit medicine's spirit energy, so as long as I keep it safe, I can concoct quite a few of them in one furnace. Chen Shang said. Back then when I was refining the 5 elements profound Dan, my peak value was 4 pills. 5 pills was a very easy task for you. Even when you were refining the 5 elements profound Dan in the past, you only had 5 pills per furnace. Su Meiyao said. I didn't learn God purification when I consumed 5 pills in a single furnace, but now heh. Chen Shang smiled mysteriously. Su Meiyao took in a light breath. She had almost forgotten about the God purification. Previously Chen Shang had used it to its full capacity and refined 4 relived Dan-s in one go. But now, with how confident Chen Shang was, it was obvious that he was going to exceed his limits once again. The Long family's 3rd batch of 5 elements profound Dan only had 2 pellets. It seems like she was also helpless against these broken pellets. She had absolute confidence in Chen Shang. She believed that Chen Shang would definitely be able to enter the top 3. If you manage to refine 6 pellets, He Piqing will definitely suspect you, because the same thing happened to you when you were refining the relived Dan back then. Su Meiyao said. We'll talk about it when the time comes. In short, I won't admit it. Chen Shang had already planned to give it his all to refine pills, otherwise it would be difficult for him to win against these powerful Dan Immortal S. Chen Shang could not use Yanlong furnace, otherwise his speed would become even faster. However, he knew that there was a drawback to speeding up the arrays since it would consume a lot of alchemist's energy. What Li Tianjin cared about the most was Chen Shang, because he knew that Chen Shang had a power that exceeded his limits. He had already refined 3 batches, yet Chen Shang did not even finish a single furnace. Alright, Chen Shang opened his eyes and slowly opened the lid. At the same time, a few waves of consciousness were projected over, followed by more than 10 Dan Immortal S who released their divine intents to check on his results. After the lid was completely opened, all the Dan Immortal were emotionally moved, because they had detected that Chen Zhang's pill furnace had 6 high-quality 5 elements profound Dan. These alchemists' first reaction was to not believe it, thinking that Chen Shang had cheated. However, they could not find any evidence to prove that Chen Shang had cheated, and those 6 5 elements profound Dan had indeed just left so they were definitely not mistaken. 6 pills. The very high elder from the Long family stood up suddenly and looked at the 6 5 elements profound Dan that were slowly floating out of Chen Zhang's pill furnace. At this time, many of the alchemists on the stage turned their heads over and looked at Chen Shang. Some of them even stopped refining pills and looked at him in shock. He Feng and He Piqing immediately frowned, because previously, the Grand Master Yan, at their 6th shop was also so powerful that he could produce pills beyond his limits, but now, the person who used the water jar furnace to concoct pills was evidently more powerful than the Grand Master Yan. Using 6 inferior medicinal ingredients in a single batch was completely illogical. Chen Shang placed the 6 5 elements profound Dan into a jade box and then arranged the next batch of medicinal ingredients. From the beginning to the end, he was extremely calm and did not lose his composure because he was the center of attention. Suddenly, the spectators fell silent for a moment, then erupted into a flurry of discussions, many expressing their disbelief, and even more thinking that Chen Shang was cheating. Chen Shang using creation divine liquid to recover those medicinal ingredients did not seem to be cheating in his eyes, as he had also consumed a lot of energy. Furthermore, that was his own strength. If he was cheating, then the accelerated pill furnaces used by the Dan Immortal would also be cheating. Now that so many people were staring at him, if he cheated, it would definitely not escape the eyes of so many experts. At this time, even more people were looking at Chen Shang, but Chen Shang was not affected at all. He was wholeheartedly arranging his ingredients, and the most amazing thing was not that he could make 3 batches of ingredients, but that he could make 3 batches of ingredients with his ingredients. If high-leveled pills could make such a difference in the future, then this kind of alchemist would definitely be very popular. It was still a competition, so even if He Piqing had many questions, he could not go over to ask, but Chen Shang knew that the new king would definitely come looking for him in the future. Very High Elder, can you refine 5 pills? Long Huishan asked. No, I can only concoct at most 5 pills. If I use those inferior herbs, it would only be 4 pills. This person is definitely a genius. I don't know who taught him how to make such pills. I can confirm that he didn't use the foreseeing alchemy, but some other method to make pills. The old man stroked his beard as he spoke. Chapter 1337. Chen Shang was not refining a cauldron of medicinal ingredients, but rather, arranging all of the medicinal ingredients in an instant, thus the others refined another furnace. Finally, the crowd had waited for him to finish arranging the ingredients. They planned to watch him refine the pills from the start to the end. They wanted to see if they could figure out anything or if he was cheating. However, Chen Shang actually carried a huge pile of medicinal ingredients and poured them all into the water jar furnace, causing everyone to be dumbstruck. The taboo in refining pills was being greedy. This kind of method was something that every alchemist would think of. Many alchemists had tried, but they found it difficult to succeed. This guy is really reckless. If he fails to gather too many medicinal ingredients, then he can't go back to claim them. At that time, he can only withdraw from the competition. If he was as steady as before and fought step by step, he might be able to get a good ranking. But if he failed, then it would be 9 sets of herbs. Everyone whispered and discussed, while Chen Zhang's strong flames ignited the black water jar furnace red, and at the same time, a burst of dense star power permeated through him. Rumor has it that this pill furnace is called the 7-star treasure furnace. There is a 7-star sky fire formation inside that can absorb the star power that exists everywhere to strengthen the flame, but it is useless to use intense flames to refine herbs. On the contrary, it could easily explode. He doesn't seem to be using the foreseeing alchemy. The fire energy of the foreseeing alchemy shouldn't be so fierce. Could it be that he has another method to refine a high-grade ground-level pill? What method is this? Chen Zhang's pill furnace had already turned red, and everyone could see that the flames inside were extremely terrifying. Using such a method to refine pills was not feasible in the eyes of many. She was now absolutely certain that the person was Chen Shang. However, she did not say it out loud, because she had a strong intuition. Lu Munger watched unblinkingly. She was worried that Chen Zhang's red-hot pill furnace would suddenly explode. I never thought that this pill furnace would be so powerful. The flame inside should be from a 5 elements heavenly fire. Song Ying praised, as expected of something from the devil-killing summit, it is indeed extraordinary. Ying there's not only 5 elements heavenly fire inside, there are even more powerful flames. However, this person has swapped out the 2 types of flames. If one does not pay careful attention, it would be difficult to discover that there's actually someone who can control 2 types of flames. Lu Zongyu exclaimed. If the Divine Saber Immortal Palace did not prove that they sold the pill furnace, it would be hard for me to believe that this person did not belong to the devil-killing summit. Wu Kanghong said. It's not just that, he should have just bought the pill furnace not too long ago, but he can control it so quickly. It seems like he must be someone who frequently controls high-grade magical equipment. Lu Zongyu now stared fixedly at Chen Shang. In everyone's eyes, Chen Shang was just sitting there with his eyes closed, his hands pressed to the fire outlet and releasing flames. The many famous Dan Immortal on the stage all felt a sense of pressure. If they were led by an unknown person, their hearts would definitely not feel good. There are many strong flames in the Dan Immortal here, but the grade of the medicinal herbs refined is very low for them. They can't use the flames as they please, their hearts will definitely be filled with anxiety. Su Meiyao laughed tenderly. This might be another advantage of being a god purification. It can allow the alchemist to release flames to concoct pills to his heart's content. Chen Shang agreed with Su Meiyao's words very much. He felt very satisfied already, but he was also continuously increasing the intensity of the flames, allowing the 7-star sky fire formation inside to absorb the surrounding star power as much as it wanted, and also increasing the intensity of his furnace. Burn to your heart's content. Chen Shang screamed in his heart, and used his divine power to crazily attack the spirit of the spirit medicine, quickly turning a large amount of the spirit medicine into powder and medicine aura. Throwing a large amount of ingredients into the furnace, then condensing the pills in one go and finishing the process in one furnace. Chen Shang had already succeeded many times, he would have to use the heavenly alchemy and his strong god power to do it here. In order to obtain the cauldron, Chen Shang had already given his all and used all his strength. This was only the first round, and the following matches might not be beneficial for a low-leveled alchemist like him. The other Dan Immortals stopped paying attention to Chen Shang and focused on concocting pills. If they were surpassed by this unknown junior, they would lose a lot of face. Li Tianjin had already predicted that Chen Shang would shine here, but he didn't think that it would be any stronger than what he had imagined. Although he had the upper hand against Bai Sha Dan Immortal, only by obtaining first place could he prove that he had defeated Bai Sha Dan Immortal, so he was under a lot of pressure right now. Many Dan Immortals were secretly hoping that the next rules would favor the Dan Immortal, because they could see that Chen Zhang's cultivation was not high, and was only at the immortal realm. He could not possibly be able to refine immortal pills, and he gave off the feeling that he was very young. Chen Zhang's Crimson 7 Stars explosion furnace suddenly dimmed and started to shake slightly. One look at it and one could tell that it was about to condense a pill. Previously, many people thought that he would fail, but they did not expect him to last so long and even reach the core formation stage. Everyone was very curious about what was going on inside the pill furnace to actually be able to enter the core formation stage. Chen Zhang's god power was as vast as the ocean as it poured into the 7 stars exposure. It turned into many sharp blades, evenly dividing the large lump of air into 54 spheres, then compressing them together again and quickly compressing them into a pill. 9 sets of medicinal ingredients and 54 pellets was equivalent to 6 pellets per pellet. Chen Shang was very confident in this kind of control. When Chen Shang lifted the lid of the 7 stars treasure furnace, a dense amount of densely packed pills floated up, shining with a translucent light. The rich medicinal fragrance spread out like a gust of wind. That kind of extremely high-quality pill made many Dan Immortals secretly sigh in admiration. 54 pills, not too many. 1 serving for 6. The Long family's very high elder took a deep breath. As for the fastest Dan Immortal, he had only refined 8 of them, while Chen Shang had already completed 10. In total, he had refined 65 elements profound Dan, and his speed was the fastest. Everyone could only describe this kind of person as a monster. This sort of genius was not only shocking, but also terrifying. This was because the pill furnace he used didn't have time to speed up the array, meaning that he still had great potential. Chen Shang flew onto the stage with the box of 5 elements profound Dan and let the elders inspect it. At the same time, he also received 10 portions of 5 elements profound Dan. Chapter 1338. From start to end, Chen Shang had always been stronger than those Dan Immortal, and now, he was far ahead of them. He had already obtained 180 points, and even the Dan Immortal who went up to exchange for more points was probably a far cry from him. The eyes of Lu Meng'er, who was watching from the VIP box, were filled with suspicion, because she saw Chen Zhang's shadow on that person. In her memories, when Chen Shang had competed in the pill refining competition many times, he had always performed an extraordinary refining technique that shocked everyone, and now, the person in front of her was the same, causing her to wonder if it was Chen Shang. Zilan, I remember that you've told me many times that my little brother was once this popular in the alchemy competition, right? Long Huishan looked at the dazed Yan Zilan. Chen Shang, that's right, I was watching by the side when the competition started. His pill refining skills were indeed brilliant. The number of pills produced, the speed at which he concocted them, including quality, are all extremely high. When he is concocting pills, he always pursues the peak. It seems like he is competing with others, but in truth, it is more like he is competing with himself. Yan Zilan said faintly. Right now, the person here seems to be the same. The surrounding environment does not have any effect on him. He seems to already be immersed in the joy of his own competition. This is a kind of realm, it's also a competition. If I were to compete with someone else, I would only think that if the opponent is better, then I would have won. If I were to compete with myself, then I would have to defeat my previous self, which is equivalent to surpassing my own limits. If I were able to achieve this, then it would not be as simple as just defeating the opponent a little. The very high elder said, causing Long Huishan and Yan Zilan to nod their heads in agreement. So this person looks very similar to Chen Shang. Could he really be the guy who likes to cause trouble? Long Huishan opened her eyes wide and looked at Chen Zhang's back figure. Looking at her, she seemed to wish for nothing more than to immediately rush over and grab Chen Shang to ask him about it. It should be him. If you've watched his matches a few times, you'll understand that he's completely using his full strength right now. He can't conceal his current state. Yan Zilan let out a long sigh of relief. he still has many symbols on him. If he was forced to use it, his identity would not be concealed. My Long family will definitely protect him. He is my sworn brother, and also my benefactor. Even if I have to risk my life, no one is allowed to touch a single hair on his head. Long Huishan said. The very high elder nodded his head. It's just that the Dragon Emperor is a little difficult to deal with. He's right here, and for the sake of the Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword, he would do anything. After Chen Shang obtained 10 batches of 5 elements profound Dan-S, after tidying them up, he threw all of them into the pill furnace. If he had 100 batches, he would definitely put them in too. At this moment, some of the Dan Immortal were secretly worried, because Chen Zhang's speed of refining pills was simply too fast. They were worried that the ingredients would be completely refined. He Piqing kept a close eye on Chen Shang and did not let go of even the slightest of clues. Furthermore, he deeply suspected that Chen Shang was the devil-killing summit who had entered the palace that day. Father, is there any way to spy on him? After this competition ends, we'll rest for 2 hours. How about we make our move then? He Feng whispered to He Piqing. No, that will affect our reputation. Everything can be discussed after the end of the competition, but we do not have any evidence, and we do not know the background of this man, so if there is a powerful force backing him up, it would be against us. We have just obtained the throne, so we should avoid any conflicts with the other forces at this stage of the competition. He Piqing replied. Chen Zhang's pill furnace quickly turned red. Just like before, no one dared to have any doubts about the results. Success earlier on had already turned the tables on everyone, and shocked everyone, and now, many of the alchemists who were spectating at the side stared at Chen Shang without blinking. They had completely ignored those famous Dan Immortals, because they wanted to learn something from them, but until now, they had not reaped any benefits at all. Brat, Dragon Emperor is here, you need to be careful, said from afar. Previously, he was also shocked by Chen Zhang's pill refining skills. He really suspected that the person who imparted the skills to Chen Shang came from the devil-killing summit. I'm not afraid, I'm a leader of the dragon subduing school. Chen Shang replied with a smile. Good boy, if something really happens, I'll scold that Dragon Emperor and then run away. Just thinking about it makes me satisfied. Huang Jintian chuckled. The old lady from the Long family had also finished 10 of the pills, which was pretty good for her. She had refined 25 of the pills out of the 10 5 elements profound Dan-S, obtaining 75 points, which was second place, but there was still a big difference between her and Chen Shang, so her expression was not very good. Furthermore, the pressure was also huge, because she was pressed down by a little brat. Not only her, but all the other Dan Immortals present as well. When Li Tianjin and the Fire Divine Palace went to deliver the pellets, the calculated score was in the 3rd place or 4th place. Li Tianjin had 72 points, which was more than 3 points ahead of the Bai Sha Dan Immortal. Following that, Xiao Profoundian and the Bai Sha Dan Immortal were both 69 points, while the 66 points had more than a dozen Dan Immortals. However, compared to Chen Zhang's 180 points, it was not even enough to look at him, and not even half of his points had been reached. Even the points of 2 or 3 other people combined could not compare to Chen Shang, and the complexions of those Dan Immortals who were separated by this kind of difference slightly turned green. Most of the alchemists have already completed the first round of 10 sets of medicinal herbs. I never thought that there would be such a difference in the score. That person is really amazing, and if he also succeeded in the second round, the gap would become bigger and bigger. This is only the beginning. Wang Weiquan looked at Xiao Profoundian and said with a smile, Yuner, as a newcomer, being able to get this rank is already not bad. Old Wang, why isn't Shang Yu here? She's your disciple. Even if she isn't participating in the competition, she should be here to support us. Lu Zongyu asked. He had just finished speaking when he heard a knock on the door of their box. As you say, that's right. This must be the little girl, Shang Yu. I wonder where she went, she's only here now. Wang Weiquan immediately opened the door, and sure enough, it was Hua Shangyu. Master. The moment Hua Shangyu entered, she shouted with a charming smile. When Hua Shangyu walked in, he immediately bowed to Wu Kanghong, Lu Zongyu, and Song Ying. Because they were all elders, even though they looked to be just as young as she was. Little girl, don't be so polite with us. Where's Qianqin? Why didn't she come? Song Ying asked with a smile. She's in closed-door training. She's very diligent, Hua Shangyu said as he walked to Lu Munger's side and reached the window where he could clearly see the auction from below. Hua Shangyu frowned. It was because I saw that guy concocting pills that I did not come up. Shangyu, you are a pill refiner. What do you think of this person? Wang Weiquan asked. Hua Shangyu was quiet for a while, then said quietly, they look very similar to Junior Martial Uncle. Chapter 1339. When Hua Shangyu said this, Wang Weiquan and the others were extremely shocked. Say this person looks very much like Junior Apprentice Brother. Of course, Wang Weiquan knew that Chen Shang was a genius alchemist, he had only heard of them and had never seen them with his own eyes. Song Ying noticed that her daughter did not feel surprised, it was obvious that she knew about it. She came to Lu Munger's side and asked, Munger, do you think so too? Lu Munger nodded her head. As long as you have seen him concoct pills once, you will understand. His demeanor when concocting pills is exactly the same as this person's. But right now, I can't be sure. Although Junior Martial Uncle has always loved to cause trouble, he should be clear about the situation here. Rumor has it that Dragon Emperor has returned, and he has the Green Dragon Demon Slain broadsword, so he must be carefully considering if he should come. Hua Shangyu said. This person's pill refinement is indeed different from the others. His appearance is as though he is entertaining himself, completely unaffected by the atmosphere of the entire arena. Wang Weiquan stroked his chin and said, if he is really my junior brother, then Zan Yun is not a lot behind him, Zan Yun is his senior sister. If Mistress loses to her junior brother, what will happen to her? Hua Shangyu asked curiously, with a mischievous smile on his face. Wang Weiquan looked serious, we'll find out after she loses. Chen Shang had already opened his pill furnace. This time, Chen Shang was able to refine 10 batches of 5 elements profound Dan and 60 pills in one go. This kind of control made many Dan immortals secretly admire him from the bottom of their hearts. Chen Zhang's score had already reached 360 points, pressuring the Dan Immortals to the point that they had to take a deep breath. They could not wait to smash Chen Zhang's water jar furnace to the point that they couldn't continue refining. If they really did shatter it, even if Chen Shang did not use a pill furnace, he would still be able to refine it. Sweat trickled down the foreheads of the elders of myriad Dan Immortal country. It had only been half an hour, and they had already refined so many medicinal ingredients, so the competition would continue for one day and one night. Right now, Chen Shang was still full of energy. From the looks of it, he seemed to be able to fight continuously for 7 days and 7 nights. It had already been 2 hours since the start of the competition. Chen Shang had refined a total of 65 elements profound Dan S, for a total of 1080 points. The second was the old lady from the Long family. With 432 points, Chen Shang had more than double her points. The third and fourth place were always occupied by Li Tianjin and the Bai Sha Dan Immortal, sometimes third, sometimes third. The two fought intensely, and sometimes score a little less than the second place. Fifth place was Xiao Profoundian, she was very stable, and the other Dan Immortals were always a little less than her. The sky quickly darkened, and everyone continued to watch the competition with interest. Until late into the night, not a single person left the competition grounds, while Chen Shang was as brutal as ever, leaving the other Dan Immortal far behind. After 20 hours had passed, Chen Shang had refined a total of 605 elements profound Dan, and he himself had refined many of them himself. Furthermore, not many 5 elements profound Dan dared to touch them, because the quality was poor. It was already morning, and the competition had not been going on for long. And on the newly updated scoreboard, Chen Shang had already scored more than 10,000 points, which was placed at the top, looking down on all the other heroes. The Dan Immortal were already used to it, and everyone was already numb to it. Time's up, He Piqing shouted. The first was Chen Shang, without a doubt, the second was the Long family's Dan Immortal, Long Perong, who was also the old granny. The third was Li Tianjin. The fourth was the Bai Sha Dan Immortal. The fifth was Xiao Profoundian. Although Bai Sha Dan Immortal had gotten 4th place, her expression was calm, and did not reveal any emotions. The city was very deep, and even though Xiao Profoundian had not entered the top 3, she was already very satisfied with herself, because she had the ability to suppress the other Dan Immortal. Those in the top 3 can come up and take away your pills, but those who haven't entered the top 1000, please leave as you wish. He Piqing said. Although the top 3 could have taken away those pills, but the total number of pills refined by the 10,000 alchemists was very much. Everyone please rest first, the second round will begin in 2 hours, and at that time, the rules will be announced. You can reveal one thing, that at that time, only 10 alchemists will be able to enter the final round. He Piqing's words caused the hearts of many Dan Immortal to tremble. The majority of the remaining 1,000 alchemists were all high-ranking. There were many Dan Immortals, but only 10 of them would be able to enter the finals to fight for the first place. Now, what was certain was that there would be at least 5 alchemists who would be able to enter the finals, which meant that they would be in the top 5. However, Chen Shang did not think so, because the first round was beneficial to him, the pills being refined was not too high-leveled. If it really is Junior Martial Uncle, then I'm afraid it won't be good for him. Hua Shangyu frowned. According to the normal course of events, the pellets that are going to be refined next will definitely be high-leveled pellets, and low-leveled pellets cannot be used by the Dan Immortals to the maximum level. But Junior Martial Uncle is still very young, and is unable to refine a high-leveled pellet. The 1000 Dan Immortal King does not plan to give away his precious divine cauldron, so he will definitely come up with a rule that looks very fair, but is beneficial to the Dan Immortal, so that the few Dan Immortals will be able to squeeze into the 10 spots and make it to the first place. That way, he will not lose the divine cauldron. Wu Kanghong laughed coldly. Although the organizers are not allowed to participate in this kind of competition, but who doesn't know that he has sent Dan Immortals? Brat, is that broken divine furnace very important? From the looks of it, you're going to throw caution to the wind. Huang Jintian asked. It's very important. You'll understand it in the future. Chen Shang had the Dan Emperor's map, so if he could find the divine cauldron's lid at that place, it would be a complete divine cauldron. I thought you used it to make dragon soup. Huang Jintian laughed. The interior of the divine cauldron was very spacious and could be used to smelt large-scale objects. This was indeed a very mysterious place. Little girl Shangyu also came. I saw her standing there for a long time, watching the event, and then she went to the VIP box. She probably went to meet up with your eldest senior brother and the others. From the looks of it, she seemed to recognize you. If Hua Shangyu had come, it would also be normal for him to be able to recognize him, so he was not surprised at all. Chapter 1340. There were only 2 hours of rest time, and all the alchemists had consumed some medicinal pellets to replenish their energy. 2 hours was very little for them, but this was the limit of challenging alchemist. Many Dan Immortal knew that the following rules would definitely benefit them, unlike last time, which caused them to lack all their abilities, but they were unable to completely display it, allowing a nameless junior to step on their heads. In their eyes, Chen Shang was someone whose strength had not even reached the Immortal Monarch. Without the Immortal Monarch's strength, it meant that the pills being refined would not be of a high level, and if he were to push himself to death, it would only be a high-grade heaven-level pill. It would not be easy for him to concoct the immortal pills, it was not enough to have talent, he still needed a certain amount of strength. Previously, Chen Shang had asked around, that there would not be any competition that would produce elixirs, and even high-grade heaven-level pills were very rare, because these were all relatively valuable medicinal ingredients, and not just anyone could produce them. Of course, if the organizers of the competition were to produce them for the alchemists to refine, that would be fair. Chen Shang was a little nervous, but he firmly believed that as long as there was a suitable pill for him to refine in the competition, he would not lose. He Piqing walked onto the stage, his gaze sweeping across the alchemist below and said slowly, "The second round is about to begin, let me first talk about the rules. There are many Dan Immortal present here, and the previous match more or less caused them to feel aggrieved. Furthermore, everyone will definitely feel unsatisfied, because they are all just ground-level pills. This competition still uses the method of ranking the points, but it is very different from last time. As long as you can concoct a high-quality ground-level pellet, 1 pellet can be exchanged for 1 point, while the low-quality heaven-level pellet is worth 50 pellets. The middle-quality heaven level is 300 pellets, and the high-quality heaven level is worth 1,000 pellets. However, the ingredients for the heaven-level pill are limited. If everyone wishes to obtain a limited number of heaven-level pill ingredients, everyone can first use their own ingredients to refine a batch of low-grade heaven-level pills. According to the price of 1 pill with 50 points, the highest score will be able to obtain a certain amount of ingredients. If you are unable to obtain the ingredients for the heaven-level pill, you can also use your own ingredients to participate in the competition. The points are exactly the same as before. Furthermore, the pills refined are also yours." He Piqing saw that many of the alchemists' expression were slightly ugly, and said, "Right now, we can give everyone 2 hours to gather the medicinal ingredients. If we choose to refine the ground-level pill, we can provide a large number of medicinal ingredients. The ground-level pills were only worth 1 point each, but the high-grade heaven-level pills were worth 1,000 points each. If he could refine 2 of them in one furnace, that would be 2,000 points, which was equivalent to 2,000 ground-level pills. If a fool chose to refine a ground-level pill, then refining a ground-level pill would be impossible. If refining a low-grade heaven-level pill, one pill would have 50 points each, but with a bit of speed, it would still be comparable to refining high-grade heaven-level pills, or choose to refine a middle-grade heaven-level pill with 300 points each. Although he had prepared in his heart, he was still angered by this rule. This had already made the ground-level pill completely lose its status. It was obvious that this was all aimed at him. Other than him, the other alchemists here probably did not have any complaints, especially now that they could gather more ingredients. Alchemists who were able to participate in the competition all had their own backgrounds. There were definitely some medicinal ingredients as well. Almost all of the alchemists had left the venue, and only Chen Shang was sitting there. He did not have much to collect, he did not have many spiritual crystal, and there was not a single powerful force supporting him from behind. His creation divine liquid could not create a large number of heaven-level pills in a short time either, so copying the heaven-level pills would require a lot of creation divine liquid and it was too late now. Aren't you going to gather the herbs? He Piqing saw that Chen Shang was sitting there unmoving, and asked. I don't have a spiritual crystal. Chen Shang lightly replied, and then asked. If I can enter the top 3, I can take away those pills, right? If you refine it using your own medicine, you can take away any ranking. If you enter the top 3 and use the medicine from our myriad Dan Immortal country, then you can take it away. He Piqing could tell that Chen Shang did not have much of a foundation, or else he would have gone to gather medicinal ingredients a long time ago. He was very clear that as long as it was the alchemist, they would not bring a large amount of medicinal ingredients with them. Then how many ground-level ingredients do you have? What if it's not enough for me to refine? What should I do? Chen Shang asked again. Hearing his question, he knew that he was going to risk his life to refine the ground-level pill. Previously, he said that he did not have any spiritual crystal and it could be seen that he was the only one participating in the competition. If you are able to refine all of our ground-level pills within 12 hours, and your points are not enough to enter the top 10, I will give you a special exception so that you can break into the final round. Furthermore, those pills are all yours. He Piqing said solemnly. He Piqing was extremely confident in his own ground level's medicinal ingredients, and there was even a large amount that he had not finished refining. That was something that they had accumulated for many years, and there were many that were rotten medicinal ingredients. Previously, when Chen Shang refined the high-rank ground-level pills, he was able to refine more than 4,000 in 20 hours. However, the 5 elements profound Dan had used up a lot of its medicinal ingredients, so there wasn't much left. If he chose other ground-level pills, the number he would produce would probably decrease, but for those who refined high-quality heaven-level pills, he would get 1,000 points for each pill, which could be said to be very easy to obtain very high points. To those Dan Immortal's, high-quality heaven-level pills were simply nothing. Everyone felt that it would be difficult for Chen Shang to enter the top 10 even if he was given 2 days' time, because the speed at which these Dan Immortal refined high-grade heaven-level pills was also very savage. In addition to the great progress made in the current time formation, it was even faster to refine high-grade pills. Brat, do you want me to steal some heaven-level pills for you? Even a fool can calculate that I will lose in refining the ground-level pills. Huang Jintian sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang. This kind of thing could be seen at a glance, there was no need to count it. Master, if I can enter the top 10, how about you give me back that bird's leg? If I lose, I'll give you another bird's leg. Chen Shang asked with a smile. I won't do it. Huang Jintian was not stupid. With Chen Zhang's confidence, there must be some other way to win. When He Piqing had just mentioned that he could gather ingredients, many people in the VIP box had already left. Using their fastest speed to gather a large amount of heaven-level medicinal ingredients, many powers had stored up a lot of them.